Peace, peace, love, and light. All right. It's Brother Blue Pill Report, live and direct. This is No Delays Media, and you are now rocking with the best. Yes, indeed. Welcome back to another explosive episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. This is episode 10, family. All right. I could already hear the round of applause. Thank you. Yeah, give me 1 second. Got to make sure all of these gauges are working. Oh, my YouTube's taking a minute to register. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, peace to the family, peace, love, and light. Welcome back to another episode. Please make yourself comfortable. It's going to be another explosive episode, of course. It is our celebratory 10th episode, 10 in the series, Tough Talk Tuesday. Brother Blue Pill featuring our brother Ken BRISBON. All right. God damn, I guess I need to close some of these tabs. It's just taking forever in the day. My computer slowed up considerably over the last few days. It's a conspiracy, y'all. All right, let's just give it a minute. Please make yourself comfortable. I'm going to clear up some of this traffic so we can get to the matter at hand. All right. Close this out. Oh, let's see. YouTube up yet? Boy, oh boy. God damn, what is going on with this YouTube link? Let me refresh my screen. Let's see what's good. Retrograde ain't even hit yet. This shit crazy. I don't know where you at in the country right now, family, but where I'm at in Atlanta, it's like 90 plus degrees. It's mad stuffy out here. You know? Page unresponsive. We're gonna wait. I said we're gonna wait. God damn it. Gotta get this YouTube link up. View stream on YouTube. All right, let me close one window. Hopefully this next one is gonna open up. Come on. Get your shit together, YouTube. All right, I finally see my screen popping up. Now they got my Zoom screen stuck. God damn. Let me air this shit out. For these motherfucking YouTube demons, right? Cleanse and clean this shit up. God damn. Come on. All right. So I see the chat is open. Okay, the family's coming in. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if the audio is good on your side. All right. I'm gonna need some feedback from y'all because I can't see what's going on in my back studio. They got my screen froze. I'm gonna need my screen not to be froze though. Built-in audio. Marin's audio. No. All right, fuck it. I ain't never been through this though. Let me see. Okay, audio is good. Is the video is it moving? Is it clear? Because on my end it's not moving, it's stuck. Visual is froze. Okay, the visual is froze. Dig. Let me see. I can't stop the recording. So what do I do? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to figure this out. Because this never happened. Like I said, it's always a process in the beginning that it's like you really gotta want this shit because the universe is always throwing. It's like, I don't know how old y'all are, but if you remember Donkey Kong, if you old enough to remember Donkey Kong, you know, you're always gonna get barrels thrown in your passageway and you gotta leapfrog them shits. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the things that I gotta go through. That's the stuff that I gotta go to actually get it in every week on Tough Talk Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? It's like we always gotta scale an obstacle to get it all the way in. Let me share my screen and see if that's gonna change something. Screen share. All right. Then we stop screen share. Who can share? Boom. Let me go to the participants. Let me see if bringing in our guest for the evening, if that's going to change anything. All right. Peace, love, and light. Come on, they acting all kind of fools.
Can you hear me?
Peace. I could definitely hear you.
What's good? I can't see you though.
Can't see me?
I can't see you though.
You can hear me though.
I can hear you.
All right. I'm working on getting all this together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this shit is like an obstacle course for Donkey Kong. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They throw the barrels in the way, and you gotta have you gotta have that leapfrog ability. You really want to get into this Tough Talk Tuesday and this grace and favor. You know what I'm saying? We need to see what your hurdle skills is like from the gate.
Right.
If you can't get out this zone, you feel me? It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be it's gonna be tough for you to talk. So I don't know if this is the universe saying that tonight might have to be audio only, but you know, we had different plans for this evening. So I gotta work this thing out. Because it's Zoom and YouTube, there's a lot of different factors at play. The video is actually streaming through Zoom. So if this panel itself is frozen, I don't know how to refresh the panel. I don't know how to refresh this page. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of different. It's streaming into YouTube. So I'm just trying to figure that out without starting the whole shit over. So just bear with me. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Get this thing. I'm going to troubleshoot this. Any display names. Boom, 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 boom. Speaker input is good. Recording is good. Statistics, feedback, accessibility, general. Come on. Let's do a monitor. This is some bullshit. Well, once again, family, we want to thank you for joining us for this celebratory 10th episode in our Tough Talk Tuesday series. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely a moment. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a moment. And I want to make sure that we're able to extend this grace and favor through this evening. So I got to get this thing figured out.
Mm-hmm.
I got mad tabs open. I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm going to start closing some of these joints. Oh, what's good with you, though, in the meantime, in between time?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just laid back. You know what
Can
I'm
the
saying?
audio step up just a decimal?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you super laid back. There you go.
Well, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit better right there.
Yeah, I'm Gucci, man.
Yeah, how was your weekend, man?
Man, with the family, just laid back, just cooling, man.
Just
Keep it simple,
bullying?
stupid.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yo, did you catch any episodes of Jailbird?
Nah, nah. You told me about that. I ain't peeped nothing yet.
Yeah, man. Somebody recommended it to me, and I stay very far away from any depiction of jail on TV.
Yeah.
But
Is it like Oz?
somebody heavily suggested. I mean, it's a reality series. It's real
Oh, it's a
life. It's
reality
not
series. Okay.
a scripted reality series, allegedly. Um, so it's not like Oz in the respect that it's not lined up like that.
Mm-hmm.
They got cameras in the joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's real life.
Yeah.
So
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, and that's a whole another dynamic. They was making hooch on camera. You know what I'm saying? They was trying to
Huh.
solicit drugs on. I'm like, the cameras is rolling, and somebody had to break up out roll and be like, yo, the cameras is rolling. They're like, oh shit. So
Who's the star of the show?
there wasn't no standout star necessarily. They had the antagonist and the protagonist, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the antagonist was the hero villain. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the protagonist, they got into their storyline and everything, and you felt sympathy, then you didn't feel sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
They in the jungle, so they play by different rules.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a human quality and there's not a human quality. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
There's a grown up quality, then there's a adolescent quality. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to gauge. But the shit was familiar. It reminded me of some things that you know what I'm saying. I would if I could forget them and move on, I would.
Are black people in it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Looking crazy voluntarily. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's cool.
So
Mm-hmm. Jailbird, huh?
jailbird. You know what I mean? All
Mm-mm-mm.
right. Let me go to this. Stop video. Boom. Stop video. We bring video back in. All right, here we go. Chill. Yeah. Did it register yet on the YouTube?
I didn't even check, bro. I
Yeah.
usually
I
grab
ain't
it.
see it kick in yet, but
Let
I
me
got it
see.
moving on my end.
Let me see. All right.
So we should be good. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, once again, family, this is This is consistent with anything in life. You know what I'm saying? I spoke about this early in the week in my workout video. Like, and a lot of those videos prepare me for these conversations because they fall right into line, you know what I'm saying, with what we're going to speak about. And that is, it's almost quote unquote human to want to quit. You know what I'm saying? You're faced with challenges and adversities, and it's shit's wearing you out. You know, you've tried everything and nothing seems to work. You're bumping your head. You're running out of options. When you're in the gym, you're reaching muscle failure. You're like, I don't have anything left. Like, what the hell what more do you want? You feel me? And on a ethereal sense, in your superhero phase, there's something else there. You know what I'm saying? On the other side of, you know, the mundaneness of quote unquote humanness, there's another aspect, you know what I'm saying? And that's what they call tapping in. And it takes so much for you not to give up and not to give in. You know, with me, failure is not an option in this particular case. I like seeing myself on camera. Nah.
That's funny.
It just didn't seem right. So I always know, and I'm a firm believer that the universe is always conspiring for our success. So I can't accept the fact that something will happen that there's no resolution to, right? But I'm also firm in my resolution that it has to be worked for as well. You know what I mean? You got to give a little up. And that's what these conversations, these last 10 episodes have been about. You know what I mean? Sacrifice, going the extra mile, you know what I'm saying? Being extra, you know, for yourself, you
Right.
know, and for that collective mission. That collective mission tonight is the continuance of an epic series of which I have grown to absolutely love. This is therapy for me every week. I wake up a better person as a result of it, and the blessings have been rolling in. I want to share with the family something real quick before we dive in. You know, with your permission. Um, and what I would like to do for you, since I went through all of this, you know what I'm saying? I think I need to turn your video on if I can.
Yeah, for sure. So we could get the big K off the screen.
Yeah, we get the. Let me see what we can do here. All right, this is not a. It's not an attendee. This is promote the panelists. Boom. All right, I got you as a panelist now. Now let's see. There we go. I see you, God. Say something.
What's good? Can you hear me? Right. I'm not a bot, right?
You're not a bot,
Yeah,
so
'cause I
we
was a
we
bot for 10 weeks.
we all the way lit. Yeah, so this is the spirit of the marathon continuing. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a little bit of gas in your tank. You know what I'm saying? You have to go the extra mile. You can't give up. You're gonna want to give up. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna wear you down. It's gonna be mentally challenging. You know what I'm saying? The lactic acid is gonna set into your muscles. You're gonna receive muscle failure and everything, but there's a superhuman part of you on the other side of that failure that when that kicks in, you in turbo drive. So these challenges that we have in the beginning of the show, it always seems to prepare us for, you know, spreading our wings, you know what I'm saying? Preparing us to go somewhere that we have, you know, to boldly go where it is that we have yet to go. And these conversations, you know, have definitely been a catalyst for that takeoff.
Agreed. Most definitely.
So what happened to me this weekend, you know, on the last episode, we ended it with speaking about a young man who was a neuroscientist at MIT named Mika Johnson. And that was on the tail end of us speaking about Idris Sandu a week prior to that. You know what I'm saying? And We spoke about him Tuesday, and on Wednesday he became a national topic of discussion because he was on the social media platforms.
Mhm.
Um, Micah Johnson, somebody that was brought to my attention, he is a neuroscientist over at MIT who has a proprietary software, an app that is able to actually track brainwave movement during freestyles. And I have openly, through my Law 44 lecture, said that the highest degree of masonry is freestyling, when an artist is actually utilizing all seven liberal arts, all quadriviums and triviums at once, to bring about the manifestation of the most powerful art form on this planet, known to man in any time, and that is hip hop, and the variants of hip hop that we know as rap. Um, so I'm at the Malcolm X Fest this weekend vending in Atlanta, and a young brother pulls up on me, and he's like, "Yo, what's good, son? How you been?" And I see a lot of people, and I don't recognize each and every person that I see. This brother looked familiar, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, "Yo, just remind me where I know you from." And he was like, "We used to go to school together. We went to Sheepshead. That's my high school. That was one of my high schools in Brooklyn that I went to in the 90s." And I'm like, okay, it started registering and everything. So his daughter was just very studious during our entire time that we were conversing. And you know, we did some commerce. He bought some things off of me. And he was like, yo, my daughter wants to say thank you. She watches your stuff and what have you. He's like, I want to introduce you to her. She's the youngest neuroscientist in the country. I'm like, what? I'm talking about Shorty was a little bit. I was like, could you repeat that?
Mhm.
And then it's kind of like throwing me off. I'm like, we just been talking about neuroscience and neuroscientists and coders and all sorts of young prodigies for the last 2 or 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And he like, yeah, like she's the youngest neuroscientist in the country. And then he pulled the article up. So this article was from the Atlanta. Well, this was in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was from ABC 11 News. And it said a neuroscientist expert from Atlanta visited students Friday in Raleigh. She is someone the students at preeminent charter school could easily relate to because the pint-sized genius is only 8 years old. Amoy Antoinette's love for science began when she was 3 and stumbled across her dad's microscope. Amoy dissects complex topics such as cell division, the heart, pH testing, the brain, and other medical subjects. She has been featured in media outlets throughout the world, including BBC Trending, Girl Talk Magazine, CNN, and HLN. She is the youngest person to ever present at a neuro convention. Amoy is in the triangle to be the guest speaker for Saturday's 2019 Youth Innovation Summit at Carey Academy. And it just goes on to explain, well, this is important. The event is sponsored by the Triangle Uplift Foundation, the Triangle Martin Luther King Jr. Committee, and Carey Academy. It's an effort to reach minority, female, and other underrepresented students by providing opportunity to increase students' confidence and inspire them the, to pursue study in STEM related fields. Right. I'm a copy editor and I've been reading mad clerical grammatical mistakes. And you got spell check these days. Like, I don't know how these reporters be. Anyway, yeah. So the young prodigy, this 8-year-old prodigy from Atlanta, um, you know, kind of like blew me away. But it came back to that same conversation that we was having. You know what I'm saying about her home rearing and the fact that her genius started at home. Her genius started as a result of her looking up to something that her father was doing, her parent,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? And I was just totally in awe, to be in the presence of such a child that is covered with grace and favor.
Why do you think that's an outlier? Why is that an outlier though? Why do you personally think that's an outlier? That's incredible. Why is it like a mutant? You know what I'm saying?
Why is it a mutant?
Yeah, like
Because
why
I'm
did
I'm in Atlanta, and children here have 12 years of education and they can't speak English.
that's very telling. That's telling.
So it's like the failures of education, you're reminded of it in a city like Atlanta, not only when you're in the streets, but especially when you turn on the radio. So for someone such as herself to latch on to a topic or an area of focus like that is not synonymous with what it is that we quote unquote do as a people, and to accelerate at that level, what I'm saying? It was just a phenomenal thing to bear witness to. And just to see, she was just a very pleasant, good spirited child. You know what I'm saying? And
You know you didn't
I
answer that
mean,
question,
but
right?
huh?
I said you know you didn't answer that question, right? Why is that? Why is that like basically mutant behavior? Why is
That
it that common? You have to tell me why that isn't common. Why when we hear these stories, we're like, wow, well, it is incredible, but it's such a shocker though. Why is that? Why is that such a shocker? How come that's not very why is that not common?
we I mean, because commonly we don't hear those stories, but more and more, especially on these episodes, we have been presenting stories that I don't necessarily feel are outliers. It's like the more that we dig, the more that we find. It's like our history. You know what I'm saying? The more that we dig, the more that we find. And now these stories are finding me. Now these people are finding me. So, they represent a smaller minority of our children, but I'm seeing a lot more of it on my timeline. I'm seeing a lot more of these children, and to physically get to meet one, to know that they are real, and this is not, Sophia, the AI, drafting up all sorts of narratives and just putting them on the internet just to get people engaged. I'm just like, yo, it might be 10 or 12 of her out there. You know what I'm saying? It might be 30 of them. It might be a whole school full of them. I don't know. I'm willing to keep all options open. But it's obvious, like I said, that she picked up on something at home that she latched onto. Um, she had a father in her life who she looked up to as a heroic figure, and she was into his things, and the things that he had around that she could get into were things that, what I'm saying, were beneficial to her,
Mhm,
as opposed to some other shit, what I'm saying, that she could have found laying around and got into,
mhm.
you know?
You didn't answer that question.
Bro, I just answered it.
You didn't answer that question.
Did I not answer it how you wanted to answer it?
No, you didn't. You didn't answer that question.
I didn't
Look,
answer
cause
that question.
no, cause look at what you're telling me. I mean, you telling me something that's super phenomenal and it's great. That's dope. But my question is, why is that common? And trust me, we're in the celebrity age and the information age. If it was common, if that was commonplace, trust me, that would be hitting your lap by times 10. I mean, it's hitting your lap now because that's the frequency you on. That's not hitting everybody's lap though. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for that and it's finding you, but
Indeed.
it's not common though. So what I'm saying is, why is it that common for for that look, someone that looks like that? Why is that not common? Why is why is it so it's like it's an anomaly? Why?
Like I said, these are not the stories that we hear about our children. These are not categorically the fields of study or research that we are pushing our children into, right? And at the same time, that's traditionally, but now more so because STEM is something that we can see through the younger generations, the Generation Z's. Like I said, I'm seeing the stories a little bit more frequently, not as much as I might like to see them, but I'm seeing them. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing them. So she just represents, like I said, a smaller minority that might be a silent majority in no time.
Okay.
But
So a few weeks back you talked about the child that was in, was it Britain? And it was
yes,
already considered him having a great mind?
the greatest, yeah.
Right. Okay. We've been talking about Idris too, and you just bring up this person. And
Yeah,
when I
Micah,
say
Micah, right? We was talking about Micah last week.
Michael, exactly right. This is great. Like this is a change in vision board, right?
Yeah.
Especially for young people. So I'm asking, why is that not common? And I guarantee if I look in the parents' lives or what they do for their children, the reason why those children can excel like that is because the parents protect them from the narratives. They're removed. That's why it looks like that.
Mm.
Grace and favor can thrive. They can excel. They can take
Okay.
they can
So
take full advantage of the comfort of Americanism.
so you saying that they don't have the app. The
They don't have
parents
the app. That's why it
not
looks like
okay.
that. There's
They don't
no
got the app
frame of
downloaded.
reference. Yeah, there's no point of reference to the black struggle or consciousness. You know what I'm saying? You have a free slate to flourish. You're not pulled down by the software or the app. That's why it looks like that. And it always happens when it's like that too,
Mm.
because innocence is intact. They got innocence.
Mm.
That's what for you, for grace and favor to be active in your life, there has to be like some innocence going on in your life.
Right.
You
And
you got you got room to flourish.
okay, once again, today's May 21st. We're celebrating the life and the legacy of Christopher Wallace, the notorious B.I.G. You know, when I think about his documentaries, when I think about the conversations that I had with his parents, or his parent for that matter, Valletta always speaks about the brilliance and the genius of her young child, and the fact that, this young child, this man child, was covered in grace and favor from a very young age, and from her understanding, if you let her tell it, all the way up until the time that he made transition, because she didn't know Biggie Smalls. She only knew Christopher Wallace, and that was her baby. You understand? And I remember like hearing her speak about, my God, like after he died, I got a chance to hear some of these lyrics, and that's not my son.
Hmm.
You understand? So there's an innocence that he had as well. We could recognize it on him when we see him. And there was a level of grace and favor that he even had in that booth, to have such a short career, such a short run, and be cemented as one of the best, if not the best of all time. So, in your summation, what happens to interrupt a child's innocence to make them pretty much, what I'm saying, fall out of grace and favor.
Um, you lose your innocence and your imagination. Grace and favor requires imagination.
Hold on. My thing is this,
Hmm.
it was all a dream. You feel me? And his imagination was one that was so compelling that people are still enraptured in his dream to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So did he lose the dream, or was the dream metamorphed into, you know what I'm saying, something else that borders on what other people might consider a nightmare? But for him, you know, maybe that was the epitome of his form of, look, my grace of, what does my grace of favor look like? You know what I'm saying? A mansion in the Hamptons. You know what I'm saying? Butt naked shorties jumping in the pool. You know, my niggas on top. You feel me? So
That's
his,
the raps, but what's the default though? Because we can't never forget the subconscious mind. That could be his 5% conscious mind talking that. But what's the default though? The default is the struggle. The default is packs and hustling. You know, jokes is that's the default. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't start like that.
right.
Listen to the mom talk, right? So you always go back to your default though, no matter what you're saying out your mouth. The subconscious mind is always at play. And what happens is once your innocence is snatching the environment that we're from, that subconscious mind gets reprogrammed for lack, struggle, hurt. You think a cop gonna smoke you, you know? You don't trust the world, you don't trust the environment, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's out to get you. You have a paranoia about yourself. That's the default. Life is hard. I'm black, so automatically, you know,
Yeah.
I don't have no friends, no advocacy. How what does that do to innocence? How can you be it's naivety that pushes you to explore. Curiosity. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have that, you don't explore. You don't you don't wonder. That requires some innocence because you go into experimentation. What works, what don't. You want to smell things, you want to interface with things. Yeah, so
Is
what's the
that,
default?
I mean, this is twofold. You know what I'm saying? This is twofold. Um, is that not somewhat quote unquote natural if you are in an environment, you know, because I remember being very adventurous as a child. And when I went outside, you know, the backyard turned into like, it turned into a journey, it turned into an adventure, it turned into the jungle. We were able to utilize our imagination to supplant, you know, a backyard concrete into a foliage forest. You know what I'm saying? We utilize our imagination to do those things. Um, and along the way, you know, on some boys in the hood shit, you might be in the backyard and you might come across a body. You might come across some
Mm,
things that are part of that particular environment that you had no knowledge of, no foreknowledge of prior to that. But now you got visuals that you can't shake and get out of your head. So now you have to ask questions. Now you
mhm,
have to be inquisitive. Now you're being told things. Now you're being instructed things. You know what I'm saying? Like they was in Boys in the Hood, like, oh, don't pay that no mind. That ain't none of your business. You know what I'm saying? Keep it moving.
mhm,
And you're like, well, goddamn. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Um, and then there's children that pretty much sidestep that entire experience altogether and take their imagination to the library, like a Idris. You know what I'm saying? And
mhm,
that's how they flower their imagination, or that's how they water their flowers, should I say. And they don't get caught up. They didn't go down that street. You know, they crossed the street and went to the library. You
mhm,
feel me? But we were still both being adventurous. Our paths just led us into different places based on the trappings of our environment,
mhm.
you know?
You can't unsee things, and you know creativity is all at work. It's always at work. So let's really look at hip hop. Look at the once people that were geniuses. In fact, a lot of people would think it's the system that has created the way the hood looks now. Rappers created that shit. They kept rapping about pain. They kept rapping about the struggle. So the buildings became more dilapidated. More people died. You know what I mean? More people in the street hurt. They created that because they and a million people played their songs at one time. You know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
was just a big prayer going out in the world.
Yeah, Big One Diamond.
Big one diamond. You know what I'm saying? So, yo,
So did Eminem.
them songs.
Did you hear what Lord Jamal had to say
about.
about Eminem?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
What'd he
Yeah.
say?
He said that, he said live niggas don't rock with Eminem. That's not the shit that you play on the way to the club. You know what I'm saying?
What
I
do you
don't
play
know.
on the way to the club?
Huh?
What do you play on the way to the club?
He said niggas ain't gonna bump M before they bump J, before they bump Nas. You know what I'm saying? Before they bump maybe like Wu-Tang or what have you, or whoever the live nigga of the moment is. But he's like, when you ready to get into whatever you ready to get into, Eminem's not your first choice. You know what I'm saying? And he also said something to the effect of, and it was connected to something you just said. Oh, son just came with what he came with, and he pretty much terraformed an entire society to take pills, to pop pills and get into whatever it is that they was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
But initially, you know what I mean, or the narrative about the baby mother or the abuse of the moms, he introduced Black America to things that was foreign to Black America, and Black America adapted themselves to those dynamics, and you could see the results of it. So it's kind of like you want to juxtapose the level of destruction that
was foreign.
Huh?
What did he introduce that was foreign?
The blatant pill use, disrespecting your moms, you know what I'm saying? And niggas be having baby mama drama, but you very rarely hear somebody openly talking about, yo, I want to do this to her, or I want to fantasize bodying her, throwing her in the trunk and driving the whip off the cliff and shit, whatever that. Now, I can't tell you too much about Eminem's catalog to really break down line for line what it is that he's famous for.
But the heroin was already popping in the streets, right?
I mean,
a whole generation was raised off it after Vietnam, right? Heroin was popping. Needles was in arms, right?
Needles was arms. Needles was in
Right.
arms. You're right.
Okay, and
But
so he wrote songs about doing this, that, and the third to his baby moms, but at the same time, in them same environments in the Black community, parents, households was single moms. So a dude didn't have to rap about it. Niggas wasn't around. Eminem didn't create that. When he was cleaning out his closet, there was already dysfunction. For people were selling crack to each other's moms.
Yeah, facts.
Eminem ain't create that.
Nah, he ain't created any and rap about it either.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, it's the hypocrisy at the end of the day.
Yeah, a lot of
the fact that
hypocrisy of George Jamal.
Son would talk about his conflicts with his mother and bodying his moms and doing that, but niggas was actually participating in slow death.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 2 Chainz said he sold his mom crack. And he's still heralded as a champion.
Right.
Like nobody took him to task for that. And they're not gonna take him to task for that. So
that's
I mean, yeah, the whole conversation about who's the bestest, even when I put up a post earlier about Big and I said that when we mourn the loss of somebody, we're not mourning the loss of the life necessarily, or the mourning does not deal with the life and the legacy. The mourning deals with the loss of potential, the potentiality factor, the fact that we won't get to see this man grow into himself as a 30-year-old or as a 40-year-old or as a father. You know what I'm saying? So we're mourning something that never got a chance to even fester or manifest itself. And somebody in the comment section was like, yeah, ever since Ken spoke about the 10 crack commandments, I'm looking at big different.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Hmm. I mean, one thing that's bad is accountability and being in denial. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas is in denial about a lot of stuff. And it's because of that denial, it can't get fixed. You just don't want to accept that this is the way the collective shadow looks. But you gotta deal with it, and this is how you get the covering. This is how you get grace and favor. You gotta be honest. You gotta identify and be like, yo, yeah, that's going on, that's happening, and we all play a major role in it. We all participate in it. Our money goes to it. Our attention goes to it. Some of us have played super active roles in it. Some have played small roles in it. But we all have blood on our hands at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? From the music to the dress to the condoning of things. When Dolores Tucker and Calvin Butts was like, "Yo, that thug music is a problem," basically, right? And they was trying to get Congress to step in. At that time, the culture was like, "Fuck that. It's just our thing. You out of touch." But look, 30 years later, though,
facts.
they was right. It should have been regulated. You see how they stepped in and and regulated cryptocurrency? Like a few people got rich,
Mm-hmm.
but they stepped into that before they regulated that, bro, before it spread and it produced 10,000 millionaires, 50,000 millionaires, right? They regulated it. So a lot of things that was going on in the culture should have been regulated for great grace and favor purposes. No, as long as there's balance, there can be grace and favor. There's no balance. It's no balance. It's like,
It's very interesting. I was reading an article last night. Supreme Court denied to hear a rapper's argument about his raps were protected under First Amendment rights. So he's locked up for politicized lyrics that dealt with, I guess, maybe cop killings. You know what I mean? So they locked him up on that, and they set a legal precedent because once the Supreme Court refused to hear it and it kicked it back down to the lower courts, I guess it's standing in law. So now they're saying that rappers are open for prosecution based on their lyrics. They're no longer covered by the First Amendment. You know what I mean? And it's funny to me when you step back and you say, damn, well, this is what they choose to prosecute. Because I think Red has a point of saying there was during an active time of a war on drugs, record labels, which are initially banks, you know what I'm saying, were banks and part of multinational corporations were signing artists who were openly pledging and saying that I'm a participant in the other side of this war on drugs. And they were giving them funding,
mm-hmm,
you know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? With no repercussions whatsoever.
mm-hmm,
These people were not opponents to you know what I'm saying, what was conceived at that time or even during this time. Because you could turn your radio on right now and niggas is still chefing on wax. You know what I'm saying? Crack whack is you know,
very alive,
very alive.
very alive.
You dig what I'm saying? Choppers, sticks, mops, and what I mean, it's more of a body count nowadays on daytime or regular radio than it was during the time that Big was alive.
Mm-hmm.
There was diversity in rap, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And niggas was poetic enough where you just didn't hear the reckless gunplay on wax. Everybody wasn't chef and crack. Everybody chef and crack right now
Mm-hmm.
on wax. In the
They
drug
talk about a
war,
bird like it's nothing.
yeah, the drug war is allegedly something that's still real. but these rappers are still getting multi-million-dollar contracts to create crack rap, you know?
But the thing about it is, if I'm on the other side and I'm in the business to make money, see, that's the thing we have to understand about the game is that it's about making money. And I think the public tends to put emotions where it doesn't belong. People operate off what they would like life to be, and they go from that perspective. But that's fantasy. We got to go with, we got to be real present. And presently, it's about turning a profit, it's about making money. So it's all about a product because guess what? Def Jam, didn't they have Public Enemy before? So they sold that product before,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Okay.
It was in that
So
business at one point.
they was in that business. So whatever the hottest product that's going to sell to a particular demographic, they're going to sell it. The problem is that because the people have no grace and favor, they don't vote with their feet. So the people say what's hot and what's not, you know? So if that frequency is problematic, then the people should vote that is problematic. That means you don't dance to it. That means you don't snap to it. That means you don't have a ringtone to it. That means you're straight zero tolerance. And then those people that selling you the product are going to be forced to pull that product off the market.
Right. Because now it looks like they're forcing it on you.
Right.
Now it looks like they're supplying a
Right.
demand.
Right.
You feel me? Because
Right.
grannies is turning up the trap music. Let's be
Right.
clear.
Right. The people have no proof that the labels and the system is targeted. You have no proof because you haven't practiced non-participation. Through non-participation, then you would say, you know what? It's an agenda because we're not supporting that. So, but that's also how you protect your grace and favor. You have to be a vibe snob. And if that frequency don't resonate with you, it's zero tolerance all the way around the board. Not a little bit here. And you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you can't be two ways. You can't dislike it and dance to it at the same time.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Can
And the thing
dislike it and dance to it at the same
and,
time.
and the thing about it is to really protect grace and favor, you have to do something that you don't want to do. You can't have the swag like, yo, you know what? I don't judge, man. Everything is you're gonna have to judge to protect your thing. You're gonna have to be judged if you're gonna protect the grace and favor. You know what I'm saying? So in the beginning, I asked you, Blue, how did this child become that? And the things that we're talking about, the child became that because the child didn't participate in that, right? And guess what? You have success stories of people going to jail, coming home, and they're new people, or going to church and getting baptized into new people. But what makes them new people is non-participation in this.
Mm.
The moment you pump the brakes on this, another world opens up for you.
And that's a fact.
It's a fact. The problem is people have attached their identity to the app. This is what they are. So if we're banging on it, it's a like a identity thing. Like how you going, you know, I was at the lectures. I caught the DVD. I bought DVDs, and you know, this is who I am. No, 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 no. That's not who you are. You're something independent from that. That's the trick. That's the lie. They hooked you up to that without you even knowing because, you know, we all want to be acceptance and we all want some type of tribe, clan, nation, right? But that it's an assault on your innocence though. So again, I said, why is that child like that? Not just that child, but the examples that you've given me for the past 6, 7 weeks, the people that we were talking about, there is a trait that they all share. And the trait that they all share is that they're independent of the app. They're independent of this.
Um, is Robert Smith independent of the app?
Yes. Yes, he is. And you and I talked about him a few weeks ago.
Yeah, like
No one
episode
knew who
4
he
or
was.
5.
No
Nobody
one knew
knew.
who he was. We said
Facts.
his name. No
No,
one
we
knew who he
read
was.
his bio. We said his name.
It was like,
You know what
who?
I'm saying? We got all into the narrative of who Robert Smith was
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that, you know, he represented the top down rather than the bottom up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's independent of the app. You know what I'm saying? So look, today on my Facebook page, I do this from time to time to shake things up. I asked, what is basically give me an example of white privilege working for poor white people. And those posts bring out a lot of traffic. And basically, Blue, everyone told me that, poor whites can just ride in the car and police don't stop them and they got access to capital and just and what they were talking about is not firsthand accounts of them of poor whites getting over on them, right? And I was like, wow, this is so interesting that whenever it's pain or something that 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 doesn't necessarily empower the black group, they always show up. They always show up. So what I wanted to do is like, okay, cool. The examples that you're giving me are white privilege. Can you use those same? Can you integrate that into black privilege? Can you do the same thing? And it was crickets.
Now,
The reason that it's crickets is because that's grace and favor. That means you got the advantage. That means you got the covering. That means you're not at a disadvantage. Like when you wake up, you feel entitled to catch a W.
right. Now somebody said something in the chat and I want to address it. You know what I'm saying? Because I just it's a conversation that has been continuing over the past few days. And I want to know, you know, the fact that Robert Smith is married to a Caucasian woman, does that eliminate the grace and favor that he bestowed upon those children, you know, with $40 million, where they could start their career covered in grace and favor because they no longer have student debt? So does who he goes to bed with at night, does that deduct from his philanthropic efforts to give back and create opportunity for other people? You know what I'm saying? Or just to be an example, a shining example of someone who in real time can go against the grain and win. You know what I'm saying? Or do they not recognize or say, oh, that's not a win because he don't have a Michelle on his arm.
Hmm. So what that tells me is that we're all about image.
Mm.
It's all about image. And you can't tell someone how to come, man. That's real personal, right? Like we got some nerve. We monitor who people lay with. I don't care about that. If somebody puts money up and it benefits you, what they do with whoever they're with, that's not your concern and that's not your business. It's millions of black men with black women and they ain't on shit. So why does it matter? Why does it really matter? Like for the sake of black love, it could be anything. As long as it's a black man and a woman taking a picture, that's black excellence. So I wouldn't care if the man lay down with a tree at night. He put his money where his mouth is, and now people can wake up in the morning with less of a headache.
Less of a burden, right? They
I'm
got a
talking
clean
about,
slate.
yo, let's be real, bro. On a payment plan, paying down 60,000,
100,
70,000, 100,000.
100.
How long
One
is
of the
that gonna
children
take?
had 100 racks. Had racks in the middle.
Right? And just think about when they heard that, they wasn't expecting that. They wasn't expecting that. Right? Now, just to be honest, none of my research has taught me no Pan-African, no black nationalism, no black movement has been able to do that on that kind of scale.
Right.
Eliminate debt for 400 people at one time.
Thanos snapped the deck, right? The Moors wasn't able to come through and discharge the debt or none of that.
That's vertical growth, bro. That's a vertical move. Right?
Nigga, that's emancipation.
Yeah, that's freedom.
That's freedom.
That's freedom.
You know what I'm saying? 44 million.
Because that's on their. Let's be clear.
44 million is in student debt.
Let's be clear. That's on their credit. That's on their credit. Student loan paid off. Now, when you're going to get loans and you're going to do business, they're not asking how did you pay the student loan off. It's paid. That's on their credit, bro. That's on their. You feel me?
Right.
So again,
why do you think that melanated women in particular think it's so personal? You know, when policing, you know what I'm saying, black man's penis.
Because black women put race first. That's why. And by and large, black men don't. That's just 100. Black women put race first. So that's why they, have a problem with no matter what he do, no matter what kind of gesture that was, he still has a white woman. That's because black women put race first. They mate race first. You know what I'm saying? There's some black women that if they never find a black man, will not mess with others. They just gonna charge that to the game and take it on the chin. I don't think a black man is finna do that. He gonna like what's liking him for the most part. He gonna like what liking him. He's not race first like black women. That's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's just the truth. And the reason and the thing about it is, all race first dudes that I know, when put in a different environment, them dating options opened up quick. It's easy to say you don't like white girls when you're not around none. It's easy to say you don't like this type of woman because you don't have access to them.
Right, but exposure changes.
Exposure is everything. I'm only going off what I seen. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that's race first got around not just whites, different melanated women from around the world, different looking people in their environment. Yo, your thing changed. But the thing about it is, for the most part, black women stay on code with that though. No matter where they are, they be wanting black men.
Do you think that that's something mitochondrial, because they are the progenitors of the race, you know what I'm saying? That is something that might be innate in them to say, I need a melanated sperm to, you know what I'm saying, spark this egg and, continue the species.
I think
something innate.
No, I think it's a social debt that's been put on black women. That's why their grace and favor is missing. Feels like a social debt. Oh, he's a black man. A lot of narratives have to be attached to him. You know what I'm saying? He's a black man, and I gotta help him, and I gotta be on front lines. I think it's a social debt. You know what I'm saying? They haven't really been in a position to make a different kind of judgment, just like on some man shit. It's a social thing, that we put on each other though. My sister, my queen, like it's a social thing. That's all matrix stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when a black man makes a move with a white woman, she's putting him race first on some social matrix creation type of deal though. You know what I'm saying? because
Right.
oftentimes she hasn't been around nothing else neither.
Right. I mean, but let's be clear. We're not saying that um just because like if you put a melanated person in an environment where they're surrounded by white or Mexicans, that's gonna or Asians, you know what I'm saying? That automatically that's what they're gonna opt for, you know. Some people still have or hold on to their preference. You know what I mean? Like it's not across the board, but I'd be
Some
damned if, you know, when I travel
Yo, my travels
through
have
these
taught me.
places where I'm like, well, god damn.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
what that boy said, Tanning of America?
yeah,
I'm like, shit.
I'm not
Hold
talking
on.
about
Yeah.
everybody.
I used to
I'm just
live
saying
in
though.
wait, let me give my
Go ahead.
testimonials.
Go
Cause
ahead.
I you know, I done moved around quite a few places in this country. And I was like, God damn, I was in Pennsylvania. I lived in Harrisburg for a little while. And when, you know, the way that you gauge your community, go to your Walmarts. And I was
Mm.
just like, well, god damn, you know, all of the melanated women were single, you know, with children in tow. But the brothers look so happy with the pink toes. They look so for like they might as well have been floating. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And let's be clear, like they was rolling with monstrosities. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't Becky's, these was Bucky's.
Oh shit, man.
But they look so content with Bucky's, not even Becky's. Like I didn't really I could never really because I never got to interview nobody. You know what I'm saying? I was just observant from the outside and I didn't have none of those inclinations. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't relate. But I was like, God damn, like it don't matter what she looked like. You know what I'm saying? They was with it. They was all the way with it. And the sisters just was like you could
Hmm.
see you could see the resentment in their face. You could see, you know, the fact that they just looked like they was just let down because whatever they had to offer, it it wasn't it wasn't being well received. You know what I'm saying? There was no level of reciprocation.
Hmm.
Like dudes must have been like one and done, and they was on to the next one. But when they found Bucky, oh no, they
Hmm.
shacked up.
Hmm.
Shacked up. You know what I'm saying?
Now, oh, it's a flip side to that too. So yeah, there is a social debt that oftentimes Black American women have with Black men, but it's also to a connected to that social debt is a like a expectation, and sometimes those Black men that you're talking about, they don't like the delivery of Black women with expectation, so they say it's attitude, or say it's hard to work with, or they say it's non-cooperation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they'll go into those environments like Binghamton, New York, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Oxford, Pennsylvania, right, where you see a lot of interracial shit crack. They'll go into those environments and be around white girls that don't have no expectation. The only expectation that they have is that he's Black, and that's enough. And then those guys end up being at a standstill too. They're not even failing. They're not even putting their hand forward to try anything because the environment he has, he's Black. That's good enough. That's he's, you know what I'm saying? He gets
Yeah.
underdeveloped like that. You know what I'm saying? So there's a with that social, there is an expectation. Because guess what? A Black woman got a Black father, a Black brother, a Black uncle, Black cousins. Your Blackness is not special. Doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? Go to a Black high school. So you just can't be Black. You just can't be a Black man. You know what I mean? So that's how that happens, in my opinion, from what you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm. You know, somebody said, I'm gonna go to it. They said that they grew up with white people, did not, they know them inside out. They said Dr. Fresh Cranston broke them down flawlessly. No matter how poor they are, they still feel they're superior.
Who cares what they feel? They're like it's odd. Like black people want to govern how white people think and feel. Look at what they think of us. They still feel. I don't care how they feel. I don't care what they think. That's the issue with the grace and favor too. When you have grace and when you're establishing grace and favor in your life, you don't care what people think and care what people feel, especially people you saying that don't like you, right? So on the collective self-esteem is shitty as hell. Who cares? Right? Who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like first of all, if if you're a poor white in America, you're the lowest of the low. At least a broke nigga got a bop to him.
Facts.
What the fuck?
Right. He could write a song about his condition and be Grammy nominated. You know what I'm saying?
What? You know what kind of anxiety? You know what kind of anxiety a poor white male has in this country? You kidding? You care what a poor white male with crazy anxiety cares? You know you care
Right.
what he thinks? That's
Right.
nah.
They fucking, you know,
Mm-mm.
their level of anxiety and depression has them as
Like
the leading candidates for suicides in this
right,
country right now.
man. Tell
They're
that shit.
dying by it's unprecedented. Do some research. You know what I'm saying? Their depression has allowed a president like quote unquote Donald Trump to come into play, right? That's all based on white fragility. You know what I'm saying? That's all based on what it is that they're going through. The same people that you're so concerned about are falling apart. They can't hold it together. You know what I'm saying? You're the one that's propping them up with all of this acknowledgement and recognition. And I want to say something else. And I don't want to disrespect the elder. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to disrespect any elders. But I mean, there's more to it than meets the eye. Some people are very scholarly and they have hella objections and views, and you know they could break things down all the way. But I ain't even gonna go there with that. I'm gonna just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying?
Look, hey,
I'm gonna
Blue.
leave that alone.
It, it,
I'm just saying that we don't even
okay,
know people's private lives enough
right.
to be commenting on what they said or how they said it. You feel me? Some of these same people have shacked up with Europeans. You know what I'm saying? European women at that.
Hmm.
So you got to know what you're talking about before you start jumping out with quotations just based on a scholastic approach to what somebody said or how they broke somebody down. You feel me? Some of the people that could break some of these people down the most sleep with them people.
Hmm.
Facts.
Hey, hey, Blue, for real. I think if collectively, if black people had their choice about choosing their type of grace and favor, it wouldn't be money for real. It wouldn't be money, weapons, guns, knives, castles. It would be for white approval.
Yeah. Come on. Let's go back to Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, like I said, there's entire industries built around the pain and the trauma of Black Wall Street, but no one can name you a name of the business, none of the names of the business people involved, or they can't even explain to you how that narrative came about, right? That anomaly that existed in multiple places at the same time, dozens of places, not just Tulsa, Oklahoma. But the article that I read, the family explained what the Tulsa bounced back even more powerful than they initially was in 4 to 5 years. What killed Tulsa was integration. So black people have been romanticizing white people by way of commerce. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
More so than it was, oh, you slinging cock to some white chick. No, if you socking into their pockets every chance you get, you're romanticizing this ideal about whiteness. You're infatuated with that shit. You
Mm.
feel me?
Mm.
I don't need to see black women running around with white men on their arm. I just need to see them with blonde wigs on their head. And I already know what the fuck is going on. You're romancing the stone. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
it's a lot of ways psychologically that this shit plays out. It don't only just play out in the bedroom, you know?
Mm. And again, boo, that's all dealing with grace and favor, bro. You know, that's what people often talk to me about too, is what white people think and what they feel, right? They always say they still gonna think this way about you. Yo, bro, I live in a black bubble of retired black people and home owning black people and trip taking black people. I don't even see whites, yo. You know what I'm saying? It's like a blackout. Black get-togethers and black people that celebrate every little thing. It could be the dog's birthday and people gonna get together and celebrate and smoke cigars. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even see whites. And that's the thing about the collective grace and favor. The collective grace and favor lives in a white bubble. You know what I'm saying? Where people that have pale skin are the top of the food chain, are the smartest, are the brightest, are the
Or the
richest.
epicenter of their universe.
Yes, I don't see that, bro.
Right?
You know what I mean? I
Like
live
a
in
black
a black
sun,
bubble. That's
a
it. Even
black
even
hole.
even if these black people are the exception, I'm aligning with the exceptions. And the problem with it is this: with the app, when you're in it, you don't see yourself as the leaders of empire. You have no frame of reference for a win. What it looks like, it feels so odd that when someone even mentions it, you're gonna figure out a meme or something to take you up out of that mindset of you catching a W. It feels like cooties. It's like, oh shit, I'm winning. You know what I mean? There's no story of a dub. There's only stories of debt, stories of being bullied, stories of no counters. You know what I mean? And also story of stolen innocence and killed grace and favor. So what you were talking about, Blue, again, to the beginning of the conversation about what was the child's name again?
Yes, this child's name is Amoy Antoinette.
I said, why isn't that common? And the reason that is common is like Thanos had a point. Thanos had a point. These people hanging on Black Wall Street so hard. If we erase their mind right now, they might create one right now.
Mm.
But the fact they're holding on to that shit, if we erase their mind right now, Blue, and give them straight collective amnesia, they'll have inspiration to want to create. They talk about Black Wall Street so much, you would think that's the play, that's the move. That sounds so defeatist. Who keeps talking about the past?
Mm.
Ancient man wrote his past in the future. You don't create in the past, you know? Every episode, Black Wall Street, Black Wall Street, Black, like, yo, this, okay, make another hole. You feel me, Blue?
Make another hole.
Make another hole. The same karate stance, like, are we one trick ponies? That was it. Like 1920, that's over 100 years. That's 100 years ago. Like that's it. Just boom, you
That's it.
drug dealer run. Few years and that's it. Boom. Right? So I don't want to hear about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear about that because also That's it. That's Pisces, yo. That's Pisces. We're in a total new age. You have to speak digitized language right now. What does Black Wall Street or anything like that look like in a digital age?
Right.
What does it look like? Right? And what does it look like within grace and favor, man? Create from the grace and favor space. But if you're talking about Black Wall Street, that means you have no creativity. You stop there. That's it. Boom. One trick pony. You can look at Nigeria and Echo Atlantic. Look at the infrastructure being built. That's right now. You know what I'm saying? That's right now. Echo Atlantic. You know what I mean? And then this is what happens, because the mind is stuck right there, Blue. When people get just a little look, a small lump sum, there's no creativity. Like how much would it cost to build a Black Wall Street right now? Does anybody have that
Much.
pricing? Because check it, technically, I watched a documentary where people built a whole town in two years.
Facts.
In the documentary Wild Wild Country, they had an airport. They changed the whole ecosystem in 2 years. They
Yeah.
had a banking system. That's a documentary on Netflix if you want to see how it's done.
Right. And they did it through what? Through politics. You know what I'm saying? So this country, unlike other countries who don't afford you the opportunity to use politics to change the political spectrum of that country, you know what I'm saying? You need sticks, mops, tanks, and some other shit, you know what I'm saying, to change any political dynamics of other countries. But technically in this country, right, through the means of politics, you can change some things. You can change policy, right? And when you change politics, especially local politics, then you can terraform, you know what I mean, whatever these regions are into what you want them to be. So this collective did that in Oregon. In this documentary, Wild Wild Country, they were followers of a gentleman named Osho, and they learned how many people that it takes to take over the voting in this country. I mean, in this small county, and they put all those people in place, and they did that, and they changed the zoning and the coding and everything of that region, and they were able to build out a small city. I believe it was on 55 acres. You know what I'm saying? With a few million, probably like 3.5. You know what I mean? They were able to build out a full-fledged operable city with their own security forces and everything for all the spooky niggas. Like, they was toting. You dig what I'm saying? They didn't have to ask nobody's permission, and they got it all the way popping in the face of resistance, right? Because the people who were the old timers of that place, the traditionalists, they didn't want to see that change. You feel me? But they were forced to, because they utilized the system against them. The very wheels that were turning unfavorable against them, they learned how to reverse engineer it and turn it in their favor through politics. What's fucking with that?
And it was incorporated. That's important. A corporated town. You know what I'm saying? That's important. It was like if you get a 100 feet 150 people, you could start your own town. So I don't even know what the number is now. But you could be in a corporated town with, if you look at the state you're in, every state is different, but you can be in a corporated town though, with your own city council and everything.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
So, you know,
That's grace and favor.
yeah,
It's creativity.
where these narratives, you know what I'm saying? Why is it at the height of when melanated people were being terrorized allegedly by, you know, public servants, right? who operate off of tax dollars.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Nobody banded together to say, yo, this whole town's for sale. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can create our own situations, install our own mayors, have our own sheriffs, our own municipalities, or what have you. I mean, you got to learn all of this legal jargon because a municipality is part of Rome, but you got to know where you at first and foremost. So it goes back to the whole civic lesson. Family, do you know where you're at? Do you know the dynamics of what Americanism entails? Right? Because the shit has grace, favor, and it obviously to some people has a level of sour results, you know. But how do you trug through life? How do you get through life dealing with something that you feel is always in opposition to you? How do you have children in that environment? And how do you raise them up in that environment as well? So there's nothing about this place that you have ever considered beneficial. There's nothing about this place that you have ever studied that says, yo, this is how I can turn this into my favor and fucking put a W up. You know what I'm saying? This resounding enough. You know, they say that the Wu-Tang W is the most iconic symbol in branding. You know what I'm saying? Black people can't collectively put together their minds to say, I want to put a W up that's synonymous with the fucking Wu-Tang W. You know what I'm saying? And everyone comes here and shows you the template. I just don't get that. So yeah, it's just like,
Hey, Blue, let me throw this at you. You ready? You're aware of the caste system in India, right? You know how it works, right?
yes.
Pretty
You're born
much,
into a caste and you're pretty much restricted to that caste for the entirety of your life.
right. So
There's
you born
no
poor,
upward
die tough.
mobility.
Okay. So maximum effort in India in the permanent underclass will land you where?
The same space that you were
Okay.
born in.
Let me tell you the difference in America.
Right? You can't crack that ceiling.
Now, maximum effort in India will land you nowhere. You can do everything absolutely wrong, be a black person in America, do absolutely wrong. You can still end up with a wife or a husband, a crib, car, and a dog. That's a fact. That's how wide open America is. You can do everything absolutely wrong and still end up with housing and food. Let me paint another picture. Maximum effort in the Congo brings no return on investment because of the way their market is and foreign policy of the West, right? That same African that's doing maximum effort in the Congo that produces no results, that same effort in America will get him a mansion.
Quick.
The problem with the narrative in the Black collective is you can do absolutely nothing and still say that the system is oppressing you. See, the people that write the narrative in the app and control the culture, they don't have to present a report card. Meaning, have you done every single thing right before you say what you say about the system? The answer is Blue. If you was to track people and see their daily habits and see the things that they care about, your jaw would drop because they're the same people online talking about systematic oppression and this, that, and the third. But they're doing everything possibly wrong. But they still have shit. Like, this is a place where celebrities, people making millions of dollars, can talk about how the system is so unfair. Making 40,000 a show. Where in the world can you do that?
Look, my nigga Kodak make 110. He's not even in this dimension, right? He wavers in and out, right? Motherfuckers got to hold him up in his pants and he could still make $100,000 talking about dysfunction on beat. Where they do that at?
Look, the trick is, let me tell you the trick. And I once believed, and I used to believe this too. The trick is to convince the Black American that America does not work for them. That's the trick. If you can convince the Black American that America is not in their favor, they will opt out of economics. I seen it. I'm from it. I believed it. So I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. They opt out of economics, and what do they fall into?
Feelings.
Feelings. And then, you
Feelings.
know, like I said, they have a natural disposition to do such because they are cosmologically governed by Cancer. They're Cancerian by their astrological nature. You know what I'm saying? Which is all dealing with feelings, is moon energy. So Black people are governed by Cancerian energy. So they have a propensity to be in their feelings. You know what I mean? But once you strip it down and you know, that's all that you know what I'm saying, that's all we get to see, you know, then you get to see what we see today.
So, Blue, if you listen, okay, so we say the system is unjust compared to what? We talk about Black liberation. What does that look like? Right? We say words. Give me an example of that. And then what people are going to talk about is how something should be. That's fantasy. That's fantasy. Because if you an intelligent people knows that if you want something to look a certain type of way, you have to participate in it. If you want the system to look a certain type of way, you don't say should. What you do is opt in. Regardless, you opt in. Uh, hey, Blue, the Civil Rights Act happened because Martin Luther King chose to opt in.
Right. Meaning what?
He
He
chose to participate.
utilized
Mm-hmm.
the availability of the politics at the time to yield it, right, in his grace and favor.
Mm-hmm.
And not as a not personally, but he was able to realize how to spread it collectively. It was so much of it available at the time
Mm-hmm.
that he was able to tweak certain things. And of course, you know, I think that Claude Anderson speaks about how they put the trapdoors in the policies and what have you. But there was enough of it accessible and available for him to get in there and do what it is that he did. He had in us grace and favor to have a direct line to the White House
Mm-hmm.
at a time where, you know, according to what they tell us, melanated people were considered, you know what I'm saying, subhuman and locked out of everything. You know what I mean? So, you know, politics is vital. The courts, as we were speaking about, the fact that, you know, we have such a weird relationship with the judicial system, you know, even though that's the first thing that we speak about in terms of our redress when there's some wrong taking place. We're gonna wait for the feds to step in. Feds? 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 You know what I mean? But everything that has been afforded to melanated people has come by way of the courts or some sorts of policy or legislation that was passed to support your Black ass.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where did Malcolm X go again to put the plight of the American Negro in front of the world?
Did he go to international courts?
Oh, the UN, huh?
Okay. Yes, the UN.
That's opting in.
Mm-hmm.
That's opting in. And that made him a global person, right? Known
Yes.
among other nations, not just a domestic minister, right? And he I'm sure got some international friends from that. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay. So he participated
On a global stage.
on a
Yes.
global stage. I'm gonna say it again. The trick is to convince the Black American that America doesn't work for them. Therefore, the people opt out of economics. They opt out of participation
In politics. Yes.
and politics. They opt out. You know what I mean?
Right. And this is where all of the decision making is taking place that is affecting people on a daily basis. Um, and you know, at one point in time, I definitely was no fan of politics. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but my name is the Blue Pill, so I am an advocate of going into the matrix to make change. You know what I'm saying? That I know and understand that it can't be done from outside of the machine. You have to go inside. You have to learn what the actual the machinations of the machine is in order to deal with undo the wiring, fuck with the tank. You got to know the machine in order to undo it. You know what I'm saying? And reading the manual outside of it, that's not really gonna cut it. So the arenas, the places that are necessary for us to be putting our input into are the very things that we run from and that we ignore, or we by default say, oh, that's white, so I don't have no place or participation in that particular arena. But as you was pointing out to me earlier, these were the very venues and places where the people who made the most monumental change amongst our quote unquote people, these are the arenas that they always found themselves playing in. And they always went to play to win, right? Because they understood the gravity of it all to say, look, you know what I'm saying? If I'm showing up here, this is the prize fight. I have to be well trained and I have to fight with everything that I have, you know what I'm saying, to throw at these folk. And our people were very successful, you know what I'm saying, in the courts. Our people were very successful in politics. I know you've heard many a story about all of the black Republicans, black senators in the early 1900s, you know what I'm saying, who are running through this thing and setting precedents. These are the stories that are not being told. I wonder why.
Fact remains, in the intro of Jeremiah Hamilton's autobiography, and Jeremiah Hamilton is America's first Black millionaire before Madam C.J. Walker. His story is not really talked about, but he lived in New York, and one of his favorite places to be was the court. He liked to settle things in court. He was very savvy with the law, and he understood what the court system was. So again, because of the way America is taught to us, we think that the court is no place for us. That's because we don't know how to maneuver in it, right? For the Negro to be free in America, they had to go through court proceedings. Even Negroes being slaves in America and Western pseudoscience was argued in courts. Is the Negro crazy because he chooses to run away from slavery? Samuel Cartwright with his theory of drapetomania. It gets argued in courts, right?
Mm.
The interesting thing about the app and the conscious community is the least studied conscious, uh, let's say the least studied, well, let me put it like this: the least studied information in the conscious community, Blue, and you'll know this, is what the Moors teach about law.
Facts.
Noble Drew Ali is the most unknown black leader or melanated leader in American history?
With the most to offer.
In terms of impact and what this person represented, they're the most unknown. He's the most unknown. Why is he the most unknown? Because he is the only one that dealt with law. He's the only one that really dealt with politics. He preached Negroes being good citizens. He preached integrity. He didn't preach anarchy, Blue. He preach for Negroes to use the law?
Yes, he did.
America and everything about it works for us if we work it. We have uneconomic behavior. That's the issue. We don't want to operate. We don't want to operate within the realms of the game and politics. We want to operate how we feel like operating. When you play the game, the funny thing, Blue, blacks that usually opt in and play America usually win too. They usually win, and it's beneficial to everybody. If Black Americans have a hand in America, you know what I'm saying? If you're telling me that your ancestors built this country, then why would you opt out of it economically then? Oh man, that's the white man's money. The money don't matter. It don't matter if I build it. The white man gonna take it anyway.
Oh, but niggas want reparations though.
Niggas want reparations. Niggas want reparations. You know what I'm saying? So that's that's the grace and favor, boo. You know what I mean? Knowing where you at and taking full advantage of being an American. There's nothing wrong with being an American. Who told you there's something wrong with being American? Understand something. Just by living here, being an American, you're in the top like 50 percentile in America, in the world, in terms of income. Hey, Blue, can you pull up a screen real quick?
Oh, screen share it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Here we go. Boom.
Can you pull up the world, not GDPs, but the world, like per capita income in the world? How would you even word that? Man, you got hella tabs open. Your memory is going crazy.
Yeah, my shit getting eaten.
Yeah. So what I want to bring up is how to word it is a list of like per capita incomes in the world. Okay, so when you okay. Okay. Per capita, that's GDP. Countries for the no. What I wanna show the people is what people make per person around the world.
You gotta find a wording for that.
Okay.
List of medium income, global medium income. Huh?
Yeah. List of median incomes around the world. I want people to see what it looks like to be from other places. Well, you can see a little bit right there. In Australia, the average is 14,000. Okay. Okay. Go all the way down, Blue.
Further down.
Yeah. So okay. Okay, so let's look. Hold on, go up a little bit. Let's just look at Poland. You just start right there, right? So this income tax season, right? A lot of people got $5,000 back, bro. $6,000. In Poland, the average person, the average median income, bro, is 13,000.
That ain't shit.
That ain't shit, bro.
Right.
Thirteen
Look,
thousand,
let me
B.
put this in perspective. This don't have none of the South American countries. My
Oh
homie just talked
wow,
about,
right,
yo,
exactly.
said he went to Nicaragua the other day, right? He said, look, son, he went to Guatemala and then Nicaragua. He said, I did everything I could possibly do, right? Outside of buying box. He said he did everything he could possibly do. He said he was going to the bar and buying 300 drinks per night for grace and favor. You understand? Because she said the shit was rough and tough. There was no security. So he had to do certain things to make sure that he was receiving grace and favor. He would buy the whole club drinks, right? He did this for a few nights. Brother has some cultural sense about him. So he went on to the pyramid. He went everywhere that he could possibly go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now he was operating off of $100. He said when he brought the bread back that he had been spending and cashed it in to leave, he had $60 left. $40 afforded him the opportunity of a lifetime in terms of being able to go wherever he wanted to go, see whatever he wanted to see, and his grace and favor overflowed to such an extent where he was able to extend that shit to to mad people on multiple nights where everyone in the spot was able to drink. And he still had $60 left over. What the fuck? What did they do to these people's economy?
Mm. Mm.
You know what $20 to get you in DR? You know what kind of grace and favor you could buy for $20 for a dub, nigga? All right, finish.
Bro, so what I'm looking for is like, so look, so right there, that's Poland. Poland is a European country. So theirs is 13,000, right? Now,
Look,
what's not in
Israel, only
Israel?
17, let's say 18, $18,000. And they supposed to be the ones that run the world?
So look, no South American countries on there. Mexico's not on there. No African countries are on there,
None.
right? Do you know in Zimbabwe it's less than 1,000?
I didn't know that. Average annual wages 2017, right? We found Mexico, it's 35, $15,000, right? The fuck is that? Average annual wages 2016. Let's see, did the shit increase? Oh, it went down. Damn. In 2016, they was making 19.3.
Hmm.
A year later, they was making 15.3. Donald Trump, you's a motherfucker.
So Blue. So look, Mexico is 15,000. There's not one African nation on there.
Not one. And that's the largest continent.
On average, the average income in Africa is not $15,000, bro. Wait, based on wages. Am I tripping? Is there any African countries on there in terms of wages?
I'm looking through it again. I don't see one. I don't see one, bro. Not a single one.
So
I see their colonizers, but I don't see one of them.
So on average, based on per capita, based on that number, bro, no African nation per capita on average, a person makes over $1,000 a year. Because if they did, that would put them at 12,000 a year.
Damn.
So that's why America looks like one big pussy ready to get fucked by somebody from the continent coming over here. They're like, yo, y'all niggas is bugging.
Bugging. Spread a wide.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Africans like, I'm finna fuck this and get a white bitch.
Right.
They like double time move over.
Oh shit. Right.
Because I lived in Harlem, near Little Africa. Them niggas do not play. They get them pink toes with the blonde hair. They don't get the Buckies. They go straight for Becky's.
Mm-hmm.
Them niggas is like, we over here, we on our Prince Amunda shit for real. We gonna do this thing right. You feel me?
Yeah, yo. So it's an interesting thing for the collective to have the money approach everybody has. Like, what do you think this is about? This is about capital. This is about getting bread. This is what everyone's coming over here for, bro, to get money, to participate in the market, to hustle. In America, we'd be like, oh, college is a scam. Yo, you know, foreigners are not saying that. They're like, yo, give me that debt to be a pediatrician. Let me get that debt. That's nothing.
Yeah, they only Michael Blackson. Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. They're like, yo, give me the debt. In America, we'd be like, yo, college is white man shit. But the African is coming to go to school though. Not only going to school is competing with Asians in grades. So it's like they're finishing top of their class academically. Right? Am I lying?
Nah, they doing anything.
If you take your kid to see a pediatrician, they're not about to be American, bro. You go get a physical, they're not about to be American.
At all.
Engineers, they're not about to be American. Right?
At all.
That's what. So again, trick the black American out of looking at America like, yo, this shit could work for me, and you trick them out of economics. It's a trick, and we spit the shit back though. Oh, fuck this country.
Grace and favor.
Out of the grace and favor. Out of the grace, like we haven't had Reginald Lewis. You know what I'm saying? A rich history of black people getting major money. If the old people was like the niggas are now, they would never had nothing.
At all.
Right? Yo, we don't like movies like The Butler, right? the butler, help, right?
Nah.
We don't like that shit, right? But because they did that, if you watch the movie, it produced a son that was able to go to school.
We don't care.
We don't care. And we don't care that the Mexican is playing the role of the help now, right?
Facts.
Now, everywhere I go, the people that's cleaning up, they're Mexican ladies. But see, it's not about now, though, because that Mexican lady, what do you think she's going to produce getting up every day? Remember, if she was to do that in Mexico, it wouldn't produce much. But if she does that in America, guess what it's going to produce? And it's not even going to take a long time. Either
Opportunity.
either her
That she,
daughter,
yeah, upward mobility.
upward mobility, right? Her daughter or the granddaughter is going to make 10 times the mother.
Mm.
That's in one generation, bro.
Right. And as much as we cry about gentrification, that's the factor that we don't factor in. The fact that our parents and grandparents are not producing children that earn more than their children. For the first time ever in Black America, they said the children are not going to earn what their parents made for the first time ever. So there's no upward mobility. There's a backward trajectory. So when the earning potential is going backward, but the prices are raising on the real estate and the cost of living in that environment, what you think is going to happen? So we cried about, you know what I'm saying? They're crying about gentrification right now. You in DC, they're making a lot of noise about it. You know what I'm saying? But why are we not having these conversations about the fact that the parents are not producing children that can compete in a market, in the modern market, you know what I'm saying? Where prices are going up, you know what I mean? And, you know, let alone the fact that they're not even explaining, you know, what it takes to look, I'm gonna leave this real estate in your name. You know what I'm saying? This is how you play the market with this real estate. This is how you finance this. This is how you get equity in this. This is how you turn this and you refinance, you this and that and the other. Like nobody's having these conversations. You know what I'm saying? And so many people are dying uninsured. You know what I'm saying? Insurance is not a conversation that we're having in our communities. You know, we can see it with the celebrities. And these niggas got M's and they don't got wills. And they don't have insurance. And they don't have real estate. I mean, they don't have last will and testament and estate planning and all of these things that are necessary to pass generational wealth. You dig what I'm saying? We're doing this shit for a high. We're doing it for a high. We're not doing it for permanence. You know what I'm saying? This is fucking temporary balling. And when you go into it with the mindset of a hustler got 2 or 3 year run. And niggas is dealing with their careers like that. They're dealing with their careers like that because we were not raised on a genre that specified career planning, longevity, grown shit, right? Or Americanism, right? Even though the ethos and the creed behind all of it was mass consumerism, right? Which was Americanism at its finest, without the motherfucking grace and favor, though.
So, hey, Blue, when the Europeans came to America, what they noticed was, of course, it was already people, but from their society, you know, living in a feudal society where it's ran by monarchs and kings and queens, and you didn't have private property, and you couldn't come up with an ideal and prosper off the ideal. You was pretty much, you know, there was no upward mobility. You know, the Church of England ruled with an iron fist. Different type of kings that was dictators ruled with an iron fist. But when they came to America, it was wide open. Of course, there was natives here, but they came over here with their own agenda. So they seen the world through that lens. So the Dutch got a jump on America. The Dutch did, right? So it took them 17 years to set up their first church in New Amsterdam. But by that time, some other Anglo-Saxon groups have migrated over here. But they set up, they landed right there because the the way that New York was carved, it allowed them to go all the way in, go all the way up to Albany. You know what I'm saying? That water keeps on going, right? But they set it up for a trading post for pelts, beaver skins, and other furs,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And they can do the commerce,
They
bro.
carved out the Erie Canal.
Yeah. And
And
they
they
can do
changed the entire trajectory of economics in this country. Mm-hmm.
and they can do business unmolested. The
Mm-hmm.
Dutch. That was the purpose of coming to the new world, was to get money. Now
Yeah.
the Spanish
Purely
had
capitalism.
sport pure capitalism. Now the Spanish had already ran through Central America already. All right. And got the silver and got the
Copper
gold,
and the
copper
gold.
and everything.
Right.
Now,
Tin. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
let's be clear. It was not slavery, West African slavery that got Europe out of the dark ages financially. It was gold from South America.
Facts.
Money,
Gold from South America. And they sent
gold,
slaves from over here to over there. Nobody talks about that.
right? So the purpose of America, Blue, was always bread, right?
Always.
It's okay, New Amsterdam. That's where the that's where the market started. That's why it looks the way it does. Okay. The black American from the gate always practiced economics. If you tell me that blacks in America owned slaves, what were the slaves doing? They were clearly working, huh? To produce something that can be sold, right? When they talk about Black Wall Street, that's economics, isn't it?
Damn sure is.
Right? So when we look again, we looked at Mary Ellen Pleasant, we looked at Jeremiah Hamilton, few of the people you see. So blacks are no strangers to money, except right now. Like talking about money, talking about that type of grace and favor, if the hair stands on the back, like it's like, oh no, I'm not. No. No, we're not allowed to talk about that. It's dirty. It's dirty. It's filthy, right? The primary institution in Black America is the Black Church. That's who would set the tone for an economic model, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they keep talking about the wealth gap, Blue, and they keep talking about the disparity in economics, what other conversation should we have other than bread?
Oh no.
Right? Grace and favor only lasts so long when no money coming in. Hmm. I suggest everybody read the Prince of Darkness, the Jeremiah Hamilton autobiography, the bio. It's pretty eye-opening in terms of the economic approach
Say
and
that
make
again,
America.
though.
I said I suggest
No,
everybody.
not that. You
What?
said grace and favor lasts, but only but so long without no money coming in.
Without no money. The,
Man,
the grace and favor, the grace and favor covering is covering you so you can get money.
and do you think that it retreats? You know what I'm saying, and becomes flirtatious with other groups of people? Who might be grinding in wheels and getting it how they live. Like, oh, they're like, hold on, what's going on over here? Oh, your niggas consistent too, huh? Economics. Fractional economics. Compounding interest. Oh, you really implementing some ancient principles towards, upward Oh,
Mhm,
you niggas is in America doing Americanism, huh?
mhm.
Come over here. Hey yo.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you how sweet it is, bro.
I forgot. I'm trying to remember, not to cut you, but I'm trying to remember where I went, where the Mexicans, they had now moved into an area where melanated people used to be with big houses.
Mm-hmm.
They was sitting lovely, son. It was on the West Coast. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was at. So they was sitting pretty. All come up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Their children was shooting hoops, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They was living their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we got the black people used to be here.
Mm-hmm.
They're not here no more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, look at this. Raising favorite, choosy.
Look, look. This how America works. How you can make America work for you. You come up with an ideal, right? You take the ideal, you package it, and you sell it, right? You think you give your thing legs, right? So in the middle of that is gonna be what you're gonna have to do: get an LLC, trademark, things you're gonna have to go downtown for, right? They're boring, whatever. But when you think about the back end of what you can make and the time you had to spend to handle that small paperwork, now check it out. The European traveled 3 months on a boat to come here to try to make money. It only takes a few days to fill out the paperwork, though, for you to make money.
Hmm.
We got an interesting market here. You know what I'm saying? We got an interesting market. You know what I mean? Um, so that's how you make America work for you. So it's mad. You know what's funny? I'm surprised that we don't sell a lot of shit to foreigners. Like foreigners that come to America, I'm surprised they don't buy shit from us. Like we don't have nothing to sell them.
But I was about to say, but what are we selling to them?
Our culture.
Right?
You sell
Other
your
than,
culture. You sell your culture.
but we don't own our culture to receive the residuals of the sale. We're getting pennies off, you know what I'm saying?
Why?
Off
Why?
of a dollar.
Why? It's your culture. You determine the price.
If a person does not feel right that they have any stock in the experience of what it means to live in this place, to flourish in this place, to raise babies in this place, right? To fucking put your stake down in this place, someone is always going to be able to come along and say, you know what? Let me license that grace and favor off of you, right? Because you just laid up with a fucking cup. You know what I'm saying? Right? Same way that you was talking about them insurance policies.
Mhm,
Let me license this grace and favor off of you. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And I'm gonna kick you some residuals on the side because I know that you don't really, really, really want to work for this shit, right?
mhm, mhm.
And they have these mental barriers already in their mind that blocks them from integrating vertically and controlling everything. So there's already a concept about you that you're too lazy to do it all to begin with. There's another concept about you that you don't have any allegiance to the very land that's underneath your feet, right? And you need that as an activating principle because that's your springboard, even if you want to jump continents. You know what I'm saying? The Hulk can't do it until he got to get down and propel himself. So, all of
So
these
you think
things
all
that
those
have
things need to
been
be in place to
told
set
to, hold on,
culture?
all of these things that have been told to these children to jerk them out of their permanence of their grace and favor, right?
Hmm.
Has created a generation of ops who other people have come along and taken I wouldn't even say taking advantage of. Like
Hmm.
If you got $100-something laying on the floor and you passed out, you sprawled out on the concrete, and I picked that shit up, I ain't steal from you. I helped myself. Right? Because that $100 was about to go to waste. And I could find a better use for it. So as unfortunate as that shit seems, because I'm talking about a whole genre of artists that were born into a time when their predecessors were jerked, robbed from, murdered, all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And nobody sat these niggas down and told them the game to be like, yo, this is how you maneuver in this paradigm, because this shit is full of vultures and don't sign with this person and don't sign with that person. Did their predecessors and their parents let them down? Or did somebody else prey on them? I don't understand. Which one comes first? So the baton is not being passed. The marathon is not continuing. You feel me? Every generation is starting from scratch.
So do those
But
things
hold
gotta
on. But you come from a people who kept records from 5,000 years ago, written in stone. But the communication is of such a gap that this cloth has not passed down from one generation to the next to ensure that the children are not getting jerked. And these niggas are still lining up to this day to get jerked. So what do you do with a people like that? Right? Because I lived long enough to see the Mexicans go from ops, right? Friday night, everybody knew them niggas to be litty, coming down the block. Would they, because they could only get paid in cash money, so they would have their cash in their pocket and they stumbling, right? Because they off the Modelo or whatever, and they like this, and niggas knew that they had a lick. Them niggas is on top right now. Some strange times.
So you can't sell your culture because of that? That's your number one commodity.
I'm convinced niggas don't know how to sell nothing. Not even drugs.
Because, okay, so that's a trend that different people that come to America, they don't switch up shit. They sell what's hot where they from. Right? Mexicans sell tacos, bro.
Yeah, they got a monopoly on that.
They don't switch up the business model. They sell tacos, my nigga. You feel me? And they're not from here and selling it to us. So it's that means we're not opting into Americanism. If a foreigner could come to people that's from here and sell their culture here, and we don't sell anything back to them.
Right. The quote unquote foreigner is not lost on the concept that here is also there. Right. So they're like, oh, you niggas are just on extended Mexico. Y'all eat tacos too. This shit gonna work there as well. And then they have the benefit of promotion. Right. They like, when you see Mexicans, you see tacos. Right. When did we capture the like even capture the stereotype to be like, when you see black people, you see fried chicken? Hey, niggas let Indians beat them to that. And then China, man.
And the thing about it is, on some real shit, there ain't nothing wrong with that though. That's the thing. Like, again, so yeah, it's a weird dichotomy because we want to look a certain type of way, You know what I mean? So what if you seen chickens?
You said
So what?
what?
So what if you seen chicken and watermelon? Like, so what if black people, so like when you looked at us, just chicken and watermelon came to mind. So what? If that would have, if we were producing that from warehouses, so what? If we had a monopoly on that, so what? Who cares? It's about money. But it seems as though we want to look a certain kind of look, like
Yo,
we
let me tell you something. You could get 10 racks an acre for watermelons. Watermelon rind is an aphrodisiac. You know what I'm saying? There's mad
mm,
components to watermelons that we haven't even exploited yet, right? And melanated people are synonymous with, vigor and vitality and you know what I'm saying? All things sexual. Like niggas didn't even bottle up. They haven't even exploited the watermelon all the way. Like everything is underused and underexploited. But when somebody else gets hold of black people, they overexploit it. I wonder why.
yo, if
So you
our
just talking about a whole group of people that's
yeah,
just ops, just sitting there, you know what I'm saying, with like they ass in the air and just gold sticking out of it. And everybody's just running down on that. Smash, 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 and moving as they please, man. It's a weird place to be in.
yeah.
It's a weird place to be in. You feel me? Like there's so much leverage that you can utilize with a watermelon, and we fail to do that. We're not even benefiting from the stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? Like
Eh,
niggas sell crack in the street and tow pistols and kill people for $5 or $10 sales and go and get a recording contracts and get beat for $1 million on the contracts and won't lay near finger on a white man and call him boss and master and all of that, right?
hmm.
For a nerd at that. Like these are not even the prototypical mobsters that you grew up with being frightened of. These are banksters, dweebs.
Hmm. Hmm. Maybe he won't body him because the dude owns his life insurance policy.
Mm. Oh, that's a whole nother conversation.
Do y'all know what annuity is? This is how like you make America work for you. Shit like this, right? When you opt in and start participating in the market. Annuities. What's an annuity? Annuity is a life benefit. Basically, you making a bet with an insurance company that you'll live to be 70 years old. And if you live to be 70 years old, you get a certain amount based on what the contract, that's a benefit to being an American to participate in that. The number one reason in the black community that it looks the way it does is because of inheritance. The children become 18 and 21 years old and can't start their life because they have no inheritance. You want black men to marry black women, that shit sounds great. But in the beginning of Godfather, in their wedding scene, what you seen was envelopes going into a bag. When you get married, it's your village responsibility to start you off with some money.
Mm.
How do you expect a man to get married to a black woman and the village doesn't start them off with any money? No money in the bag.
Oh no, you start in debt,
You
right?
start in debt.
Because you
You
want a
start in
Cinderella
debt,
wedding.
right? You start in debt, B, right? Now look at this concept. Look at this grace and favor, Blue. What does that do when you start a man off with 30, $40,000 to start his family? Not just that, on Monday morning he has a job to go to. That keeps his hand off his wife's face and his foot out of his kid's ass. You alleviate a lot of anxiety. You feel me? So that's opting in into American shit.
Oh,
When a dude comes home with financial anxiety, who's gonna suffer the most, bro? People
those,
around him,
yeah, those most immediate to him, in the
right?
closest proximity.
Right? And it's not, and it's not a lot of amount. The average American doesn't have $1,000 saved, $500 saved, small increments, right? But we encourage the man to start a family. He didn't start a family with nothing. The village failed him. That's not opting into American shit. Then people die. Then people die. There's no death benefits.
Yeah, become a further burden.
Fish fries, right? It's funny in the black community, money don't matter until somebody die. Then they need to raise funds. That's opting into being an American. That's opting into the game. It's a financial game, and once you learn the rules, you can win. You know what I'm saying? There's life benefits. There's death benefits. So your
Mm,
shorties don't gotta start with nothing, yo.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? That's real shit, boo. That's a way
facts.
for your shorty to touch money, my nigga. Like, yo, boom, term. You know what I'm saying? Um, you will want to get the whole life insurance. You can borrow money from the policy. You know what I'm saying? Or if you do get term, you want an increasing policy, which means over in time your policy increases. You know what I mean? That's American shit. That conversation is not being had. You know what I mean? All the debates in the conscious community, people not leaving signed up with life insurance. And bro, they could be small premiums, bro. $25 a month premium could still get you 25,000, $30,000 life insurance policy.
Mm,
At least that'll cover the burial and put a few $1,000s in your people pocket.
mm.
That's the
And
benefit. That's
and
the
we
benefits.
saw and we saw how some of the master teachers went out.
Okay,
Painful.
so this is what you do. This is what you do for the master teachers, right? If that's not your family, right, you can still establish what's called insurable interest in the beginning. But what you establish is called STOLI, and that is stranger originated life insurance. And what that is say there's someone in the community, and you know what? They put it down, the research was dope, but they just wasn't the financial person. So what you would do is you would set up an arrangement for them where they get cash advances from you. In exchange, you get life insurance on them. All right. And they sell the
Mm,
policy to you. Now, this is the thing. Because you love them, you're responsible for burying them. All right. You get the policy on them and you pay the premium in exchange for a cash advance. Okay. So the reason why you do that is so when the next master teacher dies, the community doesn't have to scramble for change. That's already being taken care of. So you have money to bury them, and you also will have money left over for your pocket for the investment because that is an investment. Now you just don't do that with the master teachers. You do that with people, period. And the thing is, who's gonna say no to a cash investment? So for example, All those bums on your block, when they die, there's no benefit coming from them. So it's just going to be like they're never here. But if you're if think about this as an investment. So you build together a small pot of money so you can fund cash advancements for people. Now what if you had now what if the winos on your block that ain't doing nothing with their life, that's gonna be dead soon. What if you have five, six, seven policies on them, $35,000 each, and you set up small cash advancement to them every month? They wasn't getting no money anyway. You pay the premium, and you pay for you pay for their couple of drinks, few hotels, few shirts. But that right there is almost $200,000 in life insurance policies. It's called stranger originated life insurance.
Hmm. That's you know, that's really taking care of the village. That's community right there.
I mean, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. It's making America
And
work for you.
I remember, like life insurance was something that older people, our elders, always spoke about. Like that was a premium. That was something that what I'm saying.
Hmm. So, but the thing
So,
about it is, it's the cash advance, because it's hard to talk insurance with a lot of people. But if you offer a cash advance up front, like an investor, you know what I'm saying? If you invest in life insurance and people, you'll stay with bread. Because the thing about it is, I mean, it's fucked up to say, but 70,000 blacks die a year because of heart disease. So if you was really looking for a come up in the black community because of the lifestyle choices, people are not going to live to be 65,
mm,
right? A whole life insurance is based on if you live in 100 years, right?
100.
Yeah, that's how a whole life insurance is based off. You live in 100 years, all right? Most people are not going to live to be 100 years old. They're going to die between 50 and 65 years old, especially in our community with the lifestyle choices. Now, if
Mm.
you have life insurance policy on these people, stranger originated life insurance policy, it's a win-win because you giving people cash advancements, money they didn't have, and in exchange for it, you are cashing in on life insurance policies. They didn't have a policy no way.
You think that's too real for some people?
Probably, probably.
Oh man.
I mean, it's business. I mean,
You know, let me
nothing
put
was
it in. Let
cracking
me put
anyway.
it in context. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because we love to talk about our past so much. You know, the entire aspect of melanated people in antiquity was you pretty much lived your entire life preparing for the afterlife, right? Preparing for that ceremonial departure when you did what you had to do and your heart was weighed and you didn't come back here, right? So in the modern day context, the preparation for the afterlife would pretty much be securing life insurance and making sure that what I'm saying, that your passing acts as a blessing, a benefaction to the people that are still living, so they can praise your name, you know what I mean, and make sure through good gesture that you go where you need to go, or you through the good gesture that you left behind, make sure that you go where you need to go. But there are people here that are not damning your name and that you're not in debt. You know what I'm saying? There would be no need for people to burn ancestor money if the debt situation wasn't real. And the fact that you can be indebted and your soul be bound to this earth plane. You know what I'm saying? And your people got to pay your shit off, or your debtors and your death are like, nah, that nigga owe money. You feel me? He ain't going nowhere. So there's something very spiritual about handling your affairs, you know what I'm saying, before you close up shop. And we need to get back to that conversation in our community because our people are dying wholesale and we're leaving one hell of a burden behind. You know what I mean? And that doesn't allow us to enjoy one another's life or celebrate one another in our death. And we're just losing sight of what this entire ceremony is about. You know, this entire a person's entire lifespan. That shit is just getting swept up. You know what I mean? We're not dying, we're not living the right way, and we're definitely not dying the right way. You know what I mean? And that's really fucking with the whole transitional process, you know, and this planet is overcrowded by earthbound spirits, you know what I'm saying, that are not making the jump. They're not making those transitions. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, like real talk. These are definitely conversations that we need to have.
Blue. Trick question. Who's the most hated person in the black community? What character type?
Yeah, that's a trick question for real.
You wanna crack at it? You wanna try?
Nah, go ahead.
The businessman.
Mm.
I'm talking about a black person that's straight up about business. Black man or woman, you're not liked that much. See, because business is cold and the community is about feelings. Business is black and white, and the community is about feelings, right? Business about putting your money where your mouth is. Business about study and knowing the jargon. Business about negotiation, right? We,
Mhm.
the black community, is a community of should, could, would, of fantasy, of what we would like the world to be,
Mm.
right? If 9 times out of 10, if you're the business person in your family in the black community, they have an issue with you. For those that are the financial person in their family, black person, they're usually on the outs with everybody. Do a survey. If you're the business mind in your family and you don't come from that, like that's not a business family. You know what I'm saying? Meaning the daddy owned the business. You know what I'm saying? You was grandfathered in. No, I'm talking about if you are the business mind in your family and you talk about money, you are on the outs with your family.
Mm.
Straight up. Because it's something about money. Again, we're opt out of economics, my man. We're opt out of it. That's the grace and favor. Grace and favor is not finna cover you in America and you're poor. Don't work like that. It's the more you have, the more grace and favor is attached to you.
Mm.
But again, that's the app though. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, so it's twofold. You move away from the app, it's fluid. There's no feeling. You know what I mean? So if you're the exception, it don't matter. It's all good. You know, your whole makeup is dope because you're outside of the app. You know what I mean? So I was speaking the dynamics of inside of the app. The thing is to get outside of the app, to tap into real grace and favor. You know what I mean? And then you can start coding. You can start coding your life or what works for you. You could start coding the world in your image after your likeness. You know what I mean? You wake up with expectation to catch a W, right? The app is doomed, it's ruined. You know what I'm saying? Put a nail in the coffin. If you're gonna be in America and you're gonna be here, then you opt into the game and you play the game. It's not about being fair. It's about learning the rules to the game and moving and pivot it within the game and get you a W and catch a win. Straight up.
Mm.
And expect that though. And don't look at America like it's something that is not. Like the America is a dope spot. You burn this thing down and then you keep it pushing. You run the score up vertically. You run the score up vertically. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I give you example. When you outside the app, you don't speak French no more.
What you mean?
You don't speak we. You get out of the we business and get into the me business.
Right. You flip the W.
Yeah, you don't speak French no more. You speak me, right? Because you understand that, you know what, you came to this planet for a specific purpose. And your purpose comes before the culture. You don't speak we no more. You speak me. You're in the me business. One thing about opting out of economics here, when you're part of that app, it looks down on you being selfish. You making moves for yourself. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to set yourself up. It's always about the we. It's always about the collective. But when you remove yourself from the app and tap in real grace and favor, instead of being in the we business, you get in the me business, baby. And you have a particular tribe, and your tribe it behaves like you. You know what I'm saying? It's not mystery niggas in the cloud. It's real people that you can touch, and you have a constitution with each other. And then you produce those children that have their innocence intact and their imagination intact, and they're able to create fire ass things because there's no ceiling, yo. That child does not feel guilty about creating.
Mm.
Yo, it's crazy. As a nigga, you can't do nothing without somebody always give back, give back. God damn, I ain't even get a piece.
I ain't get a piece. I ain't pass it to my children. You know what I'm saying? Might
Nothing.
want to do something for my auntie them. Like you
Nothing.
before them, huh? You know what I'm
Bro,
saying? And I might want to do it twice.
yo, you ain't
Like
even
one
what your
cruise
beat.
might not be enough. I took Granny from my daddy's side this time. Granny from my mama's side won't go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Next one, she might want to bring her friends that they play bingo with. I gotta take care of that shit first.
Right, man. Let him
Like,
let him wet
let
his
'em-
beak, bro.
yeah.
Sooner blue. I mean, goddamn, my nigga, you just got a fresh white
Just,
tee. What are you doing for black people? Like, yo,
they asked Zion. He just signed.
yo, give back, give back. Like,
He didn't even
yo,
play yet. He like, damn, son, I ain't digest this food, let alone eat
nothing,
yet. Ain't bust
nothing.
a move on court. None of that. Shit crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so what that does is, okay, look, bro, Elon Musk can create without the feeling of guilt.
What's that mean?
His philanthropy is going to be to an institution. No one is going to put pressure on him to get. He doesn't have to give back to white people, my nigga. We gotta give shit. He came up with products and they bought it. He doesn't owe nobody nothing. They liked the product Tesla, so they bought it. They participated in PayPal. He doesn't own one. It's the market, right? But with the black person, soon as you get your head above water, get back, get back, get back. Like, what the fuck? He came up with a product for the market and people bought it. He doesn't technically owe nobody shit. That wasn't free. He came up with a product and ideal and it worked. But if it didn't work, no one would have bailed him out. He would have had to take that loss. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even create. Our whole thing is like, you can't even, you know what I'm saying? You can't move far. You can't move far from the thing. They got your hand in their pocket. They're counting your money.
Yeah.
Yo, oh shit, bro, you made 1,500. Nigga, give back.
You like, damn, Uncle Sam ain't even get his yet.
Yeah, you didn't even pay no taxes.
Yeah,
And niggas charge more than Uncle Sam too. Uncle Sam went like 35%. Niggas went 70. Remember, I was in your third grade class.
But look, when it comes to the app, right? Do you think that shit, that big homie shit right there, that's like the law of 44? I mean, not the law of 44, the 48 laws of power, where you can't outshine your master. So the app is automatically, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's taking that position to say, oh, I'm the boss Cellini over here. You feel me? Because blackness is monolithic. So there gotta be a big homie aspect involved. You know what I'm saying? So they like, nah, you can't outshine. You know what I mean? Like you gotta kick some of that back to the big homies. You can't you come around here outshining your masters. Cause it come down to niggas will try to, you know, hit your helmet if you don't kick back. It becomes cultural extortion.
Yeah, the big. Oh shit. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got your hand in your pocket. And the thing about this is like this. Yo, your purpose come first. Your contribution come first. Like after your cut runneth over, if you feel like doing something, do it. If you don't, that's fine. But you don't have to feel guilty for creating. You don't have to feel guilty for having genius, yo. You know what I'm saying? We attach this social debt on people, and then like, and that's why there's a ceiling. You hit your head on the culture. You know what I'm saying? You hit your head on the culture. You know what I mean? Now, this the thing. Someone said, "Do I want to be white because I removed myself from the app?" Again, I live in a black bubble of black excellence. You know what I mean? And I don't. And what does it mean to want to be white? What does that even mean? So when someone says you want to be white, what exactly does that mean?
Did you don't
Like
want to be black?
how does that integrate? What's that mean? What does it come with? First, I need to know what it comes with first. What's that mean? If I want to be black or I want to be white, let me decide. Like, first of all, what's the perks of each? Tell me the perks.
Becky and Bucky.
You know what I mean? What's the perks? You know what I'm saying? Because everything got to have incentive to it, right? You join groups,
And how does that work? How do you pull that off?
right? You join groups for their purpose. I mean, for their perks, right? You join particular Boy Scouts, or if you playing basketball, you join this AAU team because y'all gonna play this team or travel there. You put your kids in school based on perks.
Right. What does this school have to offer?
What's your school have to offer? You know what I'm saying? I never said I wanted to be white, but when someone says that, I'm like, okay, what's the perks? Because you saying it like there's perks over there. Like it's just something I don't know. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there something over there I don't know? Because if I was like, so blue, when a person fights for their blackness, right? Nah, fuck that, I'm black. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, cool. When they opt in, what's the perks?
Oh.
What's the perks? So for those that opt in and they fighting for the shit, what's the return on investment? You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, and that's a real question because that's a grace and favor question though. If you opt into that to the app, what's the perks? Like in in 5 years you'll get this, in 10 years you'll get this. Is there dividends? Does it offer dividends? Is there room for advancement? And who's the model of success? Because Rachel Donzel opted into some shit that ate her alive.
Mm.
That shit kicked her ass when she opted into. That was a bad investment.
Yeah, that was a crazy favor.
like you want that? You glove for punishment. You know what I'm saying?
And she said blackness was a social construct.
Ain't that what the Moors say? Though
To an
I
extent.
mean, to an extent, right? To an extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but but the initial thing about the conversation, what it started off as about, you talked about greatness and a child that's on a trajectory. Blue, you and I can predict what that trajectory looks like. It looks like gone. See you later. Never see you again. Whole life open up. You know what I mean? That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is, damn, why are we not producing more of that? Because that's great. That's great. You know what I'm saying? That's great. I want to be affiliated with that. Like the type of grace and favor where you're surprised if you lose. Like you're surprised. Like there's some type of like something happened. This is a glitch because we don't lose over here.
Yeah, we don't lose over here. You know, you got to call Rob Cool up. You got to pull the charts. You feel me? You're just getting nervous. You're like, something ain't right.
Yeah, something ain't right.
Yeah, something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
You start taking assessments.
Totally. Because how did we lose? We operate in grace and favor. You know what I mean? So that kind of thing right there, where we have long runs. You know what I mean? Where the grace and favor extends to great grandchildren, 100-year runs, 200-year runs of a certain quality of life. But we gotta opt in to participate in America. That doesn't mean you can be corny. That doesn't mean that you got to change your voice when people come around. Nah, it just means working the system, working the money, participating in it, and playing the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Right.
Don't be scared of life insurance.
Using up the things that are afforded to you, um, you know, the things that have been afforded to you to once again, solidify your legacy, pass on wealth down to your next generation, or stake your claim in a place that by proxy you call home. Because I don't see too many people busting moves to do anything other than that. You know what I'm saying? So while you're here, secure this shit for what it's worth, because you have given up blood, sweat, and tears. You tell me your ancestors did as well. Nigga, you should be on top. You should wear this shit out for everything that's afforded to you until they cut that check. You should learn the game is called Monopoly.
Mm,
That's all I'm saying.
mm, mm. You mentioned that. So here's the approach that is taught to blacks, even when it comes to entrepreneurship, Blue. So businesses compete with each other to put each other out of business, right? That's the purpose of the game Monopoly. The way you win is bankrupting everybody. You want to put people out of business. Now, it's interesting enough, it's not taught in black finance to compete with white companies to try to put them out of business.
At all.
We just kind of happy to be here, right? I'm talking about competing. And check this out. Look how ill this is, boo. In business, if I put another black person out of business, I'm an enemy. I'm looked at as a bad guy. But technically, in the realms of business, I'm supposed to put all competitors out of business within the realms of business, right? If I plant bad reviews in a newspaper about their company, that's totally within the realms of business. You heard, Blue?
Indeed.
That's totally in the realms of. I'm not out of bounds. If I got a black shirt, if I got a black T-shirt company, and another person has a black T-shirt company, within business, I'm either going to buy them out or put them out of business. I'll absorb their company. Now you could work for me, but dissolve yours though. See, like that is like, whoa, yo, you can't do this. You can. This is business. This is the money game. People are competing with each other. Do you look what Amazon has swallowed up, yo? Pause. Right?
Walmart.
But look at the yo Blue. The term for it right now is retail apocalypse.
Thanos.
You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about within the next 3 to 5 years, 70 to 80% of the nation's storefronts will be closed because of online shopping.
Facts.
So Jeff Bezos is putting businesses out of business, and it's totally fair,
It's
right?
considered American.
It's
Yes.
American. It's monopoly. If I do that,
Capitalism. Dog
if
eat dog.
if if I do that to a black business, I'm an enemy in the black community, dog.
You took food off of the baby's plate, food out the baby's mouth. Like that
Yo,
food had paste glue in it.
yo, yo, but okay, Blue, like, look, digest that logic. If my company, if my company puts a black business out of business, I'm an enemy. You feel me?
Yeah, straight up.
That's ill, bro.
Yeah, shit crazy. You know what I'm
You know what I'm
saying?
saying? That's ill. So even within the realms of business, even within the realms of business, like I still have to be friendly. I can't even get money. I still have to, oh yo, you're black, so you know. But if my product is better than yours, I'm buying you out, or you gotta. I'm the best thing for me to do. Look, the thing about it, let me buy you out because
Right.
I'm gonna put you out your business.
Right. Buying you out or pushing you out. Your choice.
That's it. That is no
Yeah.
different.
What game did you grow up playing?
What games you go up playing? So what you think? Chinese companies aren't putting other Chinese companies out of business? You're bugging. You're bugging. This is the money game. This is the top of the food chain game. It's called. It's this is the human condition, right? And it's always been like that, and always will be. Each tribe going at it for their piece of the American of the world, Joe. Period. But within this black bubble and this weird grace and favor, it's like, yo, no competition. You know what I'm saying? No competition, no economics. It's like, yo, just a fantasy game. It's the fantasy game, boo. If I put a product on the market and someone else is outdoing me, shit, I got to scrap that and turn into something else.
Mm-hmm.
He got me. He got me.
Yeah. That's the perfect time for a commercial break. My product right here is gonna put every other product out of the business. If you sell liquid gold, it's time to pack it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to hire you as a bottler. At the end of the day, this gold water is amazing.
Mhm.
The aesthetics of it is incredible. And you can order it now. GOLDE water.com. Goldie water, but we'll just say gold water for now. Goldwater.com. All right. Please make sure that you go over to the website, make a purchase. We do appreciate you. You are early adopter. You are an investor in our business. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate you. Thank you. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
So so one of the beloveds in the comments said he wouldn't, I think it's a he wouldn't make a family homeless in the name of business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't have to. You They can come work for you,
Can work for you.
but they just can't operate their business no more.
Right. You can absorb them into
You
your,
know
into your design.
what I'm saying? That's it. Companies do that. Companies buy out other companies, and within the contract, you come and work for that company.
Right. Because at the end of the day, if it's race based, if that's the issue, if right, we're approaching business with from a race model, then the best product has to win and everyone should get behind that product. So shit could be
Mm,
personal or emotional. You be like, yo, I'm going with the better product. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And that person should care enough to provide you a position in their company where you can see the vision of, what this takeover is gonna look like.
Mm.
That's good business at the end of the day.
Great business. Listen to this bit. Listen to this. What I'm talking about, Blue, blacks have practiced that in the streets with crack cocaine.
Mm.
You can't hustle here. Get down and lay down. It was very competitive and people was trying to put each other out of business. Were they or were they not, Blue?
Out of here.
Okay. So there is a frame of reference of not ruthless business practice, just business practices in the street. You was trying to, yo, the thing about it is, in the pimp game, a pimp is trying to knock another pimp for all of his holes. He trying to leave him out of the game.
Yeah. Wash them up.
Wash him up. That's the game. That's business. See, when you opt out of economics, you put feelings where they don't belong, and we deal with what it should be. You don't wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I want to make another man homeless. That's personal. Business wise, I'm trying to beat your business. I'm trying to compete with you. Period. That's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Kmart's is closing, Sears is closing, Amazon is swallowing up every single industry. And if you can't adjust, if you can't integrate to the way the digital world is, then you're done. It's not personal. It's a different, it's financial and technological Darwinism at play, period.
Mm.
Period, yo. That's the game. So the thing about grace and favor, Blue, you don't have to be a nice person for it to be attached to you. Because it was attached to Genghis Khan. It was attached to Hitler. It was attached to Stalin. Grace and favor is follows big dreamers and people with big nuts. Pause. That's who gets grace and favor. When you play the game.
Grand vision.
You know what I'm saying? It that's just the game, yo. You know what I'm saying? That's the game. That's how it is. You know what I mean? That's the way it is, Blue. Grace and favor is going to be attached to those that participate. You know what I mean? So that's the final frontier. If you want to participate and compete and get to the top of the food chain, you got to do an app uninstall. Got to uninstall, not just log out.
Uninstall.
You got to
Delete.
uninstall. You got to uninstall.
Hmm.
What you think
As
about that,
painful as
Blue?
it may be. But look, man, it's 1:30 on the head. You know what I'm saying? It's which will make it
3 hours, B.
yeah. Yeah. We put in a beautiful amount of time and a wealth of information. You know what I'm saying? Our grace and favor cup runneth over.
Mhm.
You dig what I'm saying? I don't want
Mhm.
to overdo this. I want to make this a nice compact pill, this easily accessible.
Mhm.
You feel me?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and this is the 10th episode, man. This
10th
is a
one, man.
legendary,
Yeah.
monumental episode.
Yes,
I
sir.
told y'all, family, is it always boggles my mind how we are always still able to go up another notch each episode. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
How each episode is able to qualify the current conversation,
Mhm.
the dynamic of what the current conversation, what I'm saying? We set the tone and make beautiful music.
Mhm.
So I want to say thank you, you know,
Mhm.
but not only tonight's episode, but this entire series. You know what I mean? We set out to do something epic and we surpassed ourselves.
Mhm.
And that's monumental.
It's monumental, man. Yeah. And the thing about it is, yo, this don't work for people. This don't work unless people opt in and put grace and favor in their life. So, yo, when you doing your IG posts, all your posts, tap into that grace and favor, yo, and tap into this money, yo. Learn something about bread every single day. Cause let me tell you something about financial knowledge. When the market is good, people want you around. When the market is bad, people want you around. If you talk money, you can talk it anywhere around the world. That is a universal language. If you know about money, you will always have friends. If you know about the market and the way that it's changing, and you will always have friends. If you can help people save money or make money, you will always have friends. Because no matter what, uh, people know about trading time for money. They don't necessarily know how money works. If you know how money works, you will always, always be at somebody's table. You're a hot commodity. There's a site that you guys can go to. It's called, and this is if you want to get more familiar every day in terms of your financial jargon. It's called investopedia.com. You know, I'll be coming with websites, man.
Oh, for sure.
Investopedia.com.
Facts. See, I got more information. You got more homework. You know what I'm saying? Next week we want y'all to all come back individually with some terms.
Terms. It's called investopedia.com. And this is a great online resource because any financial word you want to know, from a bear market to a bull market, the proper definition of cryptocurrency, you know, leverage, whatever term you want to know, you know what I'm saying? Go to investopedia.com so you can sharpen up on your lingo. Also, make sure because eventually I want us to discuss, how are you using the law and science of personal magnetism. You
Yeah,
know,
we
did
got to
it
revisit that. We got to
did
get
any
to
of you
that.
guys read that? The art and
We got
science of personal
we
magnetism.
got to get to that. Let me drop the link just in case, you know, some new people in the building that wasn't here last week
Mhm.
because we are definitely going to do
That's 5 weeks right there.
a review. We're definitely going to do a review of this cloth. All right.
The art and science of personal magnetism. It's great, great, great. And if you don't got time to read it, you can check it out on YouTube. They got the audio. You know what I'm saying? But great, 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 and no excuses. You know what I'm saying? We moving forward. But the thing about it, yo, you heard Nip, Ocean View, Small Circle. It's a chosen few.
Chosen
It's
few.
chosen few, man. Everybody can't go, yo.
Write it down and I follow through.
Man, everybody can't go. And if they could, it wouldn't have no value to it. It wouldn't mean nothing.
How about
You know
that?
what I mean? But also,
So,
yeah, oh, just at the same time too. You know what I'm saying? If you've been following Blue Pill for hella long, man, it says '06, '07 on YouTube, him and his bro, man, your pocket should be open on that goddamn Cash App. Cause they all from all the way to Know the Ledge and Blog Talk, they always brought y'all dope ass speakers, alternative content. They had access to Delbert Blair, they had access to all the people, and they brought it to your living rooms. And it's very disrespectful, honestly, for you not to pay your peoples, yo. Period. Don't
Right.
talk about
Yeah.
unity and you not paying your folks, yo.
Look at that like button, family. You know what I'm saying? We always talk about the fact that you had an opportunity to sit in on a meal that we can't put a price on. The least that you can do is show appreciation with that like button. You know what I'm saying? You need to thumb up the like button, hit up the Cash App. You know, you're not paying for your meal, you're leaving a tip at this particular point. All right.
That's fair.
Yeah. You
That's
know what I'm
fair.
saying? We
Cause
can't
cause
set a price to this information.
cause it's
These
the
are
thing.
entire courses
To conservative whites pay their people.
all day.
They're the biggest donors, not liberal Democrats. Conservative whites pay you. You don't believe me? Candace Owens is balling right now.
Yeah. They take care of them.
Take care of them.
Make sure, you know. So real quick, I gotta make an announcement. Um, June 9th, which is like not too far away, the Shape Center in Houston. Me, Red, and Griff will be back. All right. 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Fear of a Black Planet 2 Media Manipulation of the Black Mind. You know I'm talking about that app. I'm gonna be talking about the app in the midst of the chaos. I'm gonna be talking about that app. All right. This weekend in Brooklyn, Dance Africa Festival. All right. I will be vending. I'll have that gold water. I had that seven heaven, some other items. The Fulton Medical Center, that's Fulton and Lafayette. You know what I mean? That's where we'll be set up at. It'll be very hard to miss us. You know, just follow the line. I'm gonna have that Cosmic Kale out there as well. It was a blast this past weekend at the Malcolm X Fest here in Atlanta. So this weekend in Brooklyn, I believe that's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Um, we're gonna be in the building. All right. We'll be in the building for that. And June 30th in Atlanta, I'm bringing Ra Cool and Aquarius Maximus together. And the title of this lecture is The Universe is Conspiring. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have a cardologist, an astrologist, who we call our cosmophysician, and we're going to be explaining to the family cosmologically what is going on during these times that pretty much hands down speak to the fact that the universe is conspiring for your success in real time. Okay. So I'm bringing the experts out. We're bringing undeniable proof with us. You dig what I'm saying? And that's going to be June 30th in Atlanta at Wadada ATL. The flyer for that should be out later on today. Again, $ Blue Pillar 44. That's the Cash App. Ain't nobody shaking the cup. Like I said, you leaving a tip after a 44 course meal. You dig what I'm saying? Show your appreciation. We appreciate you first and foremost. Peace, love, and light. And my brother, his Cash App, okay? Because he gave you the visuals today. That shit has to be worth something. $ We like excluded. The bars is like I said, the bars are priceless. You can't put a bar, can't put a
Right.
price on the bar,
Yeah,
right?
it's all
Can't put a
good.
price on the bar.
Yeah, it's all good.
Brother gave you the visuals today, though. You know what I'm saying? That shit got to be worth something.
Yeah, nah,
Kenny Briss.
Brandy Kenny Briz. Or just go to
All right.
cambrisbond.com, man, and cop an ebook,
BRISBON.com as
something like
well.
that. You know what I mean?
Support. You know what I'm saying? And
But if you ain't got it on the front end, the best thing you could do is go out into the world, catch a W, and holla at niggas on the back end when you get in position.
Back in. Make that shit love.
You know what I
You know
mean?
what I'm saying? Ocean
Oh,
views.
oh, so Blue. Oh, so just so we're clear, the app is called Niggerland.
Hmm?
The app. If you was looking for the name of the app, is called Niggerland. It's full of twists and turns and all type of shit. That's my that motherfucker's like 20 gigs on your phone.
Oh no. We gotta come up with visuals for that.
Yeah, it's called the Niggerland app.
Oh man, nigga land.
Niggerland.
Yeah, family. You gotta delete that nigga app off your phone. That shit
Yeah.
got your phone acting slow like my computer. You got to
Hella
freeze some
tabs
space
open.
up.
Hella tabs open.
That's
Oh shit.
it.
Yeah, that's funny, right? That's a trip. Yeah, man.
All
You
right,
already
y'all.
know.
All right. Once again, we appreciate you. Thank you. Thank yourself. Give yourself a hug. Okay. And protect that grace and favor, man.
Right,
Be
right,
selfish with that shit. Fuck that.
right. Totally. Totally.
You know what I'm saying? You owe it to yourself. That's right. Like I
Totally.
said, tonight's episode is sponsored by that Gold Water, GOLDE water.com. All right. Goldie Water, but we're going to call it Gold Water for now. All right. Peace, love, and light. And until the next episode, I'm going to catch you on the Rebound family. Peace.
Peace. Blue, I'll holla at you, bro.
For sure.